I didn't agree to any of this.
Unconsensual podcasting.
And live streaming still see. Why does it say offline?
It shouldn't.
There we go. It's online. It's online. Boom. We're online.
I got
It's a thing.
notification.
Yeah. This is a thing. This is a full podcast. There are 50. It's number 15. It's the podcast, and it's like, there are a whole bunch of us here, and we're sitting here, and then it's like, the background's purple, guys, and then Oakheart's sitting there, and she's scheming, and Skybolt's all like, then there's Pegasus sitting through, like, contemplating something, and it's the podcast, guys. We're Breakroom. It's the break. We're on a break, and it's the podcast, and it's begun, and people are listening to us. There are three people. 3 people are listening to us, guys. Guys, there are 3 people listening to us. I don't even know what Felix looking at in that picture.
5 people. Get it, mate.
There are 5 people. There are 5 people, and it's episode 15, which means that if you times the amount of people that there were by 3, then you'd end up with episode 15, which is like, there are 3 angles on a triangle. Okay, guys, so wake up, sheeple. Okay.
How do you go with this?
What the fuck are you on?
I don't know.
Hey,
hello, people of Post-Apocalyptia, and welcome to the Jet Fueled podcast.
You just chill, your little peoples.
I was having flashbacks to like freaking old-timey like farmers market. It's like, okay, we've got tomatoes over here and parsley over here. Welcome to the farmers market. Yeah.
Yes, $1, $1, $2, $1, $3, and we're gonna sell you some apples. We're gonna sell you some apples, and they're gonna be very tasty. You're gonna put them in your mouth, you're gonna eat them, and they're gonna be very tasty. You're gonna love them. You're gonna love them. You can feed them to your grandmother. You're gonna bring her up from the grave. Yes, I know she's dead, but her apples are magic. They're magic apples, like that.
You've also got me at a disadvantage because I'm trying to be all like polite because apparently my podcast stream jumps ahead if I do too much interrupting. So fuck it. Why can't we have zero lag? What the hell? Like, freaking internet is not perfect and zero lag between, vast continents. What kind of bullshit is this?
What we need to have is just all of us in a room together.
Wouldn't that be awesome? All of us around like a big, like a coffee table or something, and just like world mic in the middle. That'd be freaking awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
It would still be Skybolt and James talking.
No. We'd drag you guys in. We'd poke you and make you giggle or whatever.
I did not agree to
that. Should we wrap the Samurai Jack just to put an end cap on last 3-4 week conversation?
No.
Should we? I think we should. I think let's leave it for like 10 minutes and let's just do the. Should we leave it for 10 minutes before we? We should let everyone else have a chance to speak first.
That's
before
true.
you and I.
Would any of the supporting characters like to have their little opening monologues?
The NPCs.
Offensive.
Only for the podcast. You're the star of Confessions, so don't worry.
You're the companion characters.
I'm the engineer.
You are the engineer.
Exactly.
No, I meant of the podcast. It's okay.
Oh.
Anyway, we have people in the chat.
I just realized your your character kind of looks like a burger. She's got like the brownish, like well grilled interior, and then the ketchup and mustard on top.
She's not American.
No. She's more like a hot dog. Because you've got the ketchup and mustard going all the way down her. Also, I said ketchup, like some plebeian American. There's tomato sauce and mustard going all the way down.
Tomato sauce. Ketchup and tomato sauce are not the same thing. There are vast... I can talk because tomatoes are an inherently American fruit. Sorry, I almost said vegetable, so I know tomatoes.
Well, we don't have ketchup in South Africa. We just use tomato sauce because, we're real people. We're human beings, man. We're human beings.
That's gay. Well, you know what ketchup is? This is the big quote-unquote lie. It's essentially tomato sauce blended with like a sugary paste, and that's how it becomes the quality it is. It's like 30% sucrose. And salt. There's actually more salt and calories in ketchup than French fries. So it's like if you want a diet and you want to have French fries, you leave that ketchup off and you go with mustard, my man. Unless you're a filthy Canadian like Ryan and you get the whole poutine like gravy thing.
Here's my real name.
I still have yet to try poutine. Do you have a recommended joint of next time I'm in up Northistan?
Not particularly, because I usually make my own.
Okay, there we go. That's the natural way.
You just buy fries up the Savvy or whatever, and then you boil them. Then you have gravy that you buy at the Savvy, and you just set that to the side until after the fries are done. Then you have gravy that you buy at the Savvy. So I mean, it's a very complex process.
Nice.
Just heat the two up.
Just a random noise in the background.
Can this be done in a microwave?
Yeah, it's not a complex process.
Yeah.
But it is amazing.
Yeah.
So, shut up.
Sounds so wonderful.
Anything bad.
No, it is amazing. I mean, you need a hot gravy, flurry inside of you to keep from the biting cold of the Yukon and the up north. Because, I mean, hell, even northern U.S. is too far. No. I lived in Virginia, and that was the farthest north I ever wanted to live. Ugh.
It's funny, because just yesterday, we were sitting at, 25 degrees Celsius.
Okay, that's nice. That's quote-unquote room temperature, 70.
Room temperature is at 20, so...
Well, yeah. In scales, yes, okay. Okay, so it was somewhat nice weather. No...
About 80. About 80.
Getting up there. Did Skybolt say furry? This is a horse show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's inherently furry-esque. Not 100%, but there's quite a bit of crossover.
Also, Quantum Zim. I haven't seen that name pop up in our live chat before. This must be someone new. This must be a new person.
Oh my god, are we actually expanding our audience? What the fuck?
We've expanded by a whole one. A whole one person.
Are we at 1,300 people yet? That's the thing I'm waiting for.
No, we're
Damn
not. We are literally one away. We are at 1,299.
Come on, guys, don't make me make a shell account to subscribe to us.
Just one. Come on, guys, we can get to.
Oh, should we talk about Amoria's Loins, our most recent release? Bachika Bow Wow?
Yes, let's talk about Amoria's Loins. Oh, and then afterwards we'll talk about our most recent release. So. Okay, so oddly enough, Amoria's Loins is I think one of the oldest Wasteland Survival Guide chapters, though, because it was part of Needle's test. When we originally were casting out characters, Sky wrote his one chapter. I think it was an excerpt from The Clean Water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I wrote Amoria's Loins, and that's that's right at the beginning. That's when I was still very much trying to justify the point of having lore in there, so you can kind of see it in the you can see it in the early parts of the chapter. Like, what do you mean we're having lore in this book? Yes, there's going to be lore in this book.
I think people have accepted the disparity.
Exactly. There's no explanation for it now, but you can kind of see this as a holdover from right at the beginning. But interestingly enough, that story about Amoria's Loins actually comes from African mythology.
You don't say.
Yeah, I ripped it off pretty shamelessly, to be honest.
That's okay. Isn't that how most religion is anyway? It's like, okay, we're going to take this thing that exists and then tweak it a little bit. Like, look at the freaking Romans. They're like, oh, hey, check out this neat Greek mythology. Let's just change a few names and, it's good. What, Jupiter? No. This is Mars now. Or whatever. I don't know them all. Continue.
So, yeah, that was a... honestly... The funny thing is that the title Amoria's Loins came before pretty much everything else. Like, let's make a dirty pun. Let's make a dirty joke and then just build the chapter off of that.
I assume that's the name of the song she sings, right?
No, it's just the subject of the song she sings.
Okay. It's like something that frickin' Miley Cyrus would have said in her phase from the last 5 years.
I kind of want to make the song, or at the very least, I kind of would like. If there are any musicians in our fan base, please make the song and send it to us.
There you go. What do you think?
What
do you think it would be like?
Musicians in the fan base. What do you think I'm here for?
Well, we have you guys working on like real music. This is our bullshit in jokes. And then of course for the artwork, I'm like, okay, do I want to actually make a piece of artwork relevant to the to what the chapter ends up being about? No, let's just roll with the name. And then I'm like, okay, hey, she's got this like, butt symbol, and actually it has a certain look to it. If you just give it a little extra symbology, it looks very ASCII, if you know what I'm saying.
It looks like a vagina.
Yes. So that worked out well.
Oh, speaking of which, so we started doing this on a break at my university. So we had a script feedback session instead of our usual class, which meant that of the 40 of us in our class, 3 people go in at a time. So it was 2 hours of doing nothing for most of us. So we decided to do what you would naturally do at that point, which is go and look up all the other words for vagina.
Oh my gosh.
Because the thing is that if you think about it, that is the worst word to describe it.
Yeah, no, all the euphemisms, or I don't know, whatever the reverse of euphemism is, are much more interesting words. That's why in the description I put that whispering eye joke, because, it's like whispering, like singing, yeah. And it's gross.
There are some truly, truly fantastic ones. My personal favorite is beef curtains.
Oh my gosh. If we're going for the meat analogies, though, I still like roast beef the best. Speaking of which, we have a comment, is mayonnaise a substitute murder weapon against raiders? If you drown them in enough mayonnaise, then yes.
Go for it.
Drown them in mayonnaise in their beef curtains.
Drown them in beef... What?
Nothing.
San Andreas Fault. That is fantastic. What we came up with. So I had an ex-girlfriend who tried to make wallaby a thing.
Oh my gosh.
Which, no. But let's see. Pepper.
Oh my gosh. No.
Badly packed kebab. Meat wallet. Axe wound.
Axe wound is still my favorite. Oh, you just in time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, what did you do? What have I done?
I've been wondering why Oakheart was silent on this.
Yeah, I thought she was just not wanting to comment on this
I was AFK because one of my cats decided to terrorize a bird, and we spent the last half an hour trying to get all the cats in because the bird is currently in a front garden.
We've been discussing alternate terms for vagina.
What?
Yeah, it happened so quickly we lost control.
Our personal favorite is axe wound.
What?
Although I'm quite a fan of meat wallet, beef curtains, and badly packed kebab.
But since Oakheart is here, we could go with a culturally appropriate term, fanny.
Oh, this one. Cocksocket.
Well,
yeah,
in the very literal sense.
Right?
I'm just open my money box for those reasons.
Oh, money box is a good one too. It's the gift that keeps on giving. That's what we call the pussy pass. Oh, you got a parking ticket? Not anymore. The
it's a literal money box, not one of your Innuendos. Damn it, open. I'm basically opening it to see if it's got any old £5 notes in it because they're no longer any use to society apparently. So I've got to remove them.
What about the Batcave?
I'll also be counting how much is actually in it because it's actually quite heavy and shit. So.
All right, cool. I think we've put this off long enough. Skybolt, you and I have a date with Samurai Jack.
I don't want a date with Samurai Jack. I want a date with the what's the right word? Removed from existence? I don't know. Abdicated from reality? The fucking bullshit ending.
Yeah, so in case you get... So, Skybolt and I have now... We've both now finished Samurai Jack, and so we are going to be going into the heaviest of heavy spoilers, so if you don't want the ending to Samurai Jack spoiled for you, now would be a great time to piss off.
You should have learned by now the last 4 weeks.
Look, to be fair, this is the last time it's going to be happening.
Yes.
Which also...
Yeah, we're moving on now. We swear.
Yeah, we need to find something new. We need to find something new to obsess about.
I know.
I'm fully into obsessing over Red versus Blue at the moment. It's brilliant this season.
I gotta catch up.
You gotta catch up because that shit is awesome. But for now, Samurai Jack is over.
So, first of all, our 2 predictions last week of how we thought the ending would unfold, I would probably give each of us a 50% on different things. What do you think?
Yeah. Like, Sky managed to get a little bit of it right, but we both fucked up the ending.
Yeah, because I really thought... Okay, first of all, let me give... Since we do things from writing context, let's talk about time travel. Especially a show that is based on time travel as a dynamic. Here's a short... Okay, first of all, time travel is probably impossible, but we're going to go with the idea that it can work out. Causality means that, yes, something has to happen in the past for it to happen in the future. But with Samurai Jack, you can't remove Ashi from existence, because if she's removed from existence, then Jack can't come back to the past. So you see how this is like a Catch-22 Mobius strip kind of thing? So what Jendi should have done is just let her be alive and, whatever, freaking Horus and Odin and the gods are just like, yeah, that's cool, man. Have a good life. You deserved it. Because he's the one that had to do their damn dirty work by them just handing him the sword. So... yeah, no, her disappearing from existence would make no sense, because then Jack would disappear, Back to the Future, and Aku would reappear, and etc. This is like A-B reasoning. It's not hard to figure out.
Exactly, but it's just the most ridiculous. But also, let's look at it from and I'm gonna go full Skybolt here. Why do they hate love?
Right?
Why does everybody hate love? I mean, I know, it just, come on, guys. You can't. They were doing so well, and look, I mean, after all this time, it's true that, and after all the goodwill he's earned, that he's collected and amassed, Gendy has earned the right to do whatever the fuck he wants. But on the other hand, also, the sad/bittersweet ending, I don't think this was the way to go. Like, in order to win, Jack had to lose something. I think if they had gone with the 100% happy ending and nothing was lost, it wouldn't have been perfect. But I kind of assumed that it would be his route to the past, or him deciding not to go to the past. Like, that's fine. But the fact that they killed off Ashi, and also the fucking elephant in the room that he just undid all that future. It's like, hey, you never existed. You never existed. You never existed. Everything that Jack did, all of his heroics, technically never happened. Everything that he did to inspire people means nothing if it's been erased from time.
Yeah, and that's another thing that people aren't really, like, accepting the fact that that could have been the bittersweet part, is that all of them either didn't exist, or you could have a little, freaking montage about how their lives played out differently in, like, different parts of the galaxy or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, that would be cool.
The point is, I really wanted my parallel ending where you see a little baby Jack Jr. and him have a parallel life with Jack growing up, because that's what they deserved. But no, we gotta just... Okay, here's the thing, too. Causality, unless we're talking about, like, a literal Lovecraftian, like, dark god, would not wait a couple of weeks until the wedding, and then wait for her to be halfway down the aisle, and then remove her from existence. That's not how that works either.
Causality is not sentient. It does not have a sense of dramatic timing.
I mean, Jesus, Aku was not that evil in a lot of ways.
Okay, so there were a lot of things that we did not like about the ending. Like, literally from, I think, the moment Ashi regains control of herself, right through to the end, is just... I disagree with all of that.
Yeah, they should have won in the future, and then, yeah, you know, it's...
Like, what's the point of showing us all these people that Jack has helped and saved who now come to his aid, and, like, you see all these people that we have this bond with, and then when Jack goes back to the past, and we see all of these characters returning, like all the people from episode 1 who originally trained him, like... I don't care about those characters. Each of them were on screen for like 3 minutes or less back in 2001. You know, like fucking very first episode. I don't care about those characters. If they, you know, if the characters in the past suffer and die and whatever, that's fine, because I don't have an emotional connection to them. None of us do. Jack does, but he's not the audience. He's not the people that Gendy is trying to please.
The other thing, too, is his parents went back to being young and, you know, like, sort of normal-looking age. They were old and, like, decrepit when Jack went to the future, so they should have looked like that.
Yeah. His mom was still pretty old when she came back, but his dad was, like, fucking... is he wearing dye or something? What?
Okay, update. 1, my money box is open. 2, I'm bleeding, and I'll be back in a few.
What the fuck?
Where's she bleeding from?
My fingers. I put my fingers open.
Oh my gosh. Okay, don't die.
Yeah, I will totally die from this. I'll be back in a few.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Strange woman.
Okay, yeah,
All
but
right,
either way,
so...
the entire buildup of Ashi across the season, in my opinion, of course, I'm going to bitch the most about this because I demand a happy ending from some show at some point, is that, yes, she would have been enough for Jack to be like, I can start a new life, you know, the past is saved, or the future is saved, or whatever. It's like, okay, it should have been he killed her, and then all the powers are gone, and... You know, she never had the time travel powers in the first place. It was just, that would have been the bittersweet. And Jack, you know, okay, we've seen ancestors come back, bring back ghost Jack's parents. And they're like, you've put our souls to rest, Jack. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. You know, and all the great little alien friends. And why didn't he bring back the emoji aliens either? That's another thing I'm pissed about. This is the most adorable little alien blue furry child ever.
The emoji aliens were friggin' awesome. Oh my god, they were so cute. I would have loved to see more of them. So yeah, essentially, like in a season about in a season about that focused so heavily on the influence of Jack's actions and making and presenting him with difficult choices, this was an ending that gave us none of that. You know what this was? This was the Mass Effect 3. This was the your choices. Like, seriously, this is like fucking final season or games about, you know, choices and the consequences of choices and all that shit. And then it's like ending. Oh, sorry, you thought your choices mattered? What? No.
Yeah, so I'm very
Andy.
nonplussed about that in that sense.
But despite everything that we didn't like about the episode, that like those last 3-4 minutes, oh my god, everything else about the episode was brilliant.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong either. The series as a whole, the way of like bringing this back and wrapping the show like this, is better than like 99.5% of all shows out there.
Yes, this was absolutely phenomenal, and every beat of that last episode up until the points where we started having issue was perfect. I really like. I freaked the fuck out when you get when you're wondering what's going to happen on the TV screen, and there's just like, and you hear the original Mako voice and the fucking original version of the opening playing, and it's like, oh my fucking god, that is incredible. That was so much fun.
That was, I thought, one of the best, like, that was really clever use of the old theme and setting it within, like, the world context. I thought that was actually very impressive. Yeah.
That was really, really fantastic. Especially because then we got to see Greg Baldwin? His brilliant Aku. Like, good fucking Christ, is he funny.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it would have been terrible if they kept Aku silent. It would have been just this gaping emptiness. I mean, the show wouldn't have felt the same. So getting someone to be a tribute to Aku, you know, I think it was better this way.
Ooh, ouch, Skybot, that picture you just stuck up. Fucking Samurai Jack meets Cowboy Bebop.
Right?
Dude.
You're going to carry that weight. All the feels.
I finished Cowboy Bebop like 2 weeks ago for the first time.
I have yet to finish it. I have started it, but I haven't gotten through it yet.
That ending hits you hard, especially with the "you're going to carry that weight" popping up. But anyway, I'm getting off topic on our off-topic stuff. I don't even know what the original topic was, but it's Samurai Jack now.
Okay, so either way, my headcanon is the last 10 minutes were a dream, and everything worked out fine, and it's a freaking happy ending, son of a bitch.
My headcanon is the last 10 minutes were a dream, and that they're both dead, but they're in the afterlife, and they're super happy about it.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Either way, the thing is, you kind of have to have them together. That's, even if they're both dead, the fact that they're together is what makes it a happy ending.
The entire fucking season was built around that. They can't just get them to the ending and then kill her halfway up the aisle. That's bullshit.
Exactly. Also, though, for the record, despite them going back to the past and me disagreeing with that, that was still kind of worth it to see the reaction. To see the reaction to to see Aku's reaction to Jack popping up right away, like, what? You're back already? Fucking.
Yeah, it's like
his mouth is beautiful. Like fucking. He'll undo the future. That is Aku. Not.
That was that. Yeah, that was so great. I mean, just the best use of the original opening. Absolutely. That's you know, going back to our own series, because I'm sure people are getting mad about that. That's what I tried to do with Confessions. And the opening of Confessions 5, the Ranger, was add context to what the snow, the radio static was at the beginning of all the intros. I
loved that.
I thought, you know, that would be cool to sort of imply, like, you know, add this kind of depth to it, like, oh yeah, this is just the looped recording of the stations rebroadcasting the final day over and over again.
I really, really like that, because it gives it's something like, now knowing that every time you re-listen to an episode of Confessions or you start a new episode, that weight really, really does hit you.
Yeah.
It's like you're already. It's like you're going into it with feels pre-programmed into your mind. I thought that was a great touch.
That's my whole reason for the show is pre-programmed feels. Yeah.
But see,
yeah.
the thing is that your love of love is going to spoil the end of Confessions, and I do not know how Confessions ends. So if people in the comments section or people listening to this don't presume that I'm spoiling the ending of Confessions, but my own personal theory is that Skybolt's love of love means that this Confessions is going to have a really happy ending with fucking DJ Pody and Duchess Rosepetal going off and being happy together. That's my headcanon.
Who knows? We'll see what happens. The other thing about shows of any kind is the journey. It's all about the journey of how you get there. Just like, was it Avatar The Last Airbender? If that didn't have a happy ending, I would have been pissed too. Because the entire series was so well constructed around the narrative. I mean, really, it just did what few shows like that and Samurai Jack do, which is just maintaining this big epic narrative and still telling the monster of the week kind of shows in the middle, and you can appreciate it for both things.
That's so fantastic that they managed to do that, and that's also I was very angry after finishing Samurai Jack until I did get that message from you that you sent this morning about the importance of the journey. And you're right, fucking the journey, getting to the ending, what like this last 10 weeks of fucking Samurai Jack was incredible.
Holy cow.
It really was. What a journey to bring us here.
And I've been a part of this shitposting group about it, but it's just been this devoted, intensive fan, following for the last 2.5 months, and it's just been the best time for me. So I don't know. I very much enjoyed this, even more so than Westworld, because I had more. Well, this was better in a lot of ways than Westworld, just for what I look for in a show. Because I look for me, television and any kind of fiction is escapism. I want to have a good story outside of life, which very seldom provides good stories, and so yeah.
Exactly. I'd argue that this is definitely a lot better than what Westworld was, for different reasons.
Yes.
Though.
Yes.
Westworld had some incredibly strong moments and very strong performances. But where Samurai Jack Season 5 we've sort of overtakes it, and where it overtakes a lot of things for me, is the sheer degree of competency that you can see in every single part of this. Everyone who was involved in this project did their job beautifully, and everything clicks together just right, which is rarer than you'd think.
I mean, the backgrounds and stuff were just gorgeous. Like the action was well executed. The atmosphere, the music was all very well done. I mean, even except for the episode 2 ending, which of course is probably the peak of all that. I mean, it was very moody, like them going through the prison and all the fight scenes and the build and the learning about the creatures. I thought it was very well done.
It was absolutely very, very well done. But because normally you hit a show and it's, I mean, to be fair, Samurai Jack did prove it's not perfect. It gave us that ending. But that journey that got us there. Watching Jack and Ashi growing closer together, seeing the songs, literally every moment with Scaramouche in it was just beautiful.
Scaramouche, babe.
Oh yeah, baby. You gotta chill, babe. The ending doesn't matter, babe. What matters is the journey, babe. Scaramouche is just popping up some wisdom for you, babe. Dollface, yeah.
Also, if you wanted bittersweet, I think Scaramouche's death was enough bittersweet, because, damn, he was one of the best characters of the frickin' season.
He's one of the best characters of the series.
Yeah.
He was so fantastic. And literally, a great example of a two-dimensional character who, you can make a 2D character to be a strong character. He just has to be really fucking entertaining. And Scaramouche just hits that on the head so goddamn hard between his design, the way he fights, and just like the fucking voice actor's delivery. Oh man, I would love to have seen someone pitching him. I know I've said that. I think I've said that on the podcast before.
I mean, you got to think too. His entire existence was a well-executed comedic moment because, first of all, I love his whole explodey knife. That was cool, and then it's like as soon as his head wakes up, and you're like, oh, I knew he wasn't dead because the head was fine. And then you've got 5 episodes of him running, and then as soon as Jack gets the sword back, you're like, oh, here we go. And then they show up, and Jack just whips it out, and he dies. It was so good. And then, of course, he delivered the best line of the season, which is, his head looks like a talking penis.
That was just incredible. That I still cannot fucking... the most outrageous goddamn line of the whole show. All right, Sky, can you wrap things up on the Samurai Jack pod? I need like 2 minutes. I need to go pee.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so in conclusion, this I'll wrap this up and transition into other things. Samurai Jack was a good way of fans bringing back a show with demand, and it's just like how Firefly brought the movie with Serenity, and now this with Adult Swim is. If you truly care about something, what is the key? Vote with your wallet. You buy the DVDs, you buy the merchandise, you pay for anything that tells them that this has a market that we could produce, the end of the damn series for, if you like it. Even today, in the modern context, like, obviously normal TV is going out the fucking window. So on Netflix, watch it. Or Hulu or whatever. Watch it over and over again as their servers rack up those view count. They're going to be like, oh, wait, this is very popular. We should make more of this. And so for me, I want to make sure that gravy train keeps rolling when Hollywood, they look at everything in numbers. It's just dollars on a page. That's how Hollywood works. So I'm going to buy the Blu-ray regardless, and I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of it, and the soundtrack if they release that separately, because I very much enjoyed that too. So, other shows like that, by the way, if we want to stay in a bit of a nostalgia trip, is they're coming back with the Hey Arnold movie. Oakheart or anyone else on call, were you a fan of Hey Arnold growing up?
Nope. I didn't have television when I was a kid.
Okay, you guys are going to leave me in the dark then. Yeah, so Hey Arnold ended up on a bit of a cliffhanger, which is was it a movie or it was like a TV? Anyway, it was about the origin of his parents, which is they sort of like go off and they're like what is it? They're like sort of explorers and sort of like these Indiana Jonesy type characters, and they were helping like this tribe in the jungle, the green-eyed people, and then they just disappear and they never come back. And so Arnold's grandpa raises him and the grandma and stuff, and which is I think another Tom Kenny character. Damn it, it's all the characters. And so that was a good show, but of course, series got canceled before you actually found out what happened to them and if they're still alive. But I think it was like last year they announced that they are bringing back everyone for a final movie, a TV movie or, limited event kind of thing. And they're finally going to wrap that up. Thank God. Because when there's actually a good show and they don't wrap up a storyline that they've been building, pisses you off. So, anyway. What is going on with you guys? What did you want to bring to the podcast as we change subjects here?
I made a horrible decision.
Oh God, what was it?
You know how I told you a while ago that I had 11 guitars?
Uh-huh.
I had 12.
You bought another guitar?
Yeah.
I think the last time we talked about this was the Valentine's Day episode, and we asked if you make sweet, sweet love to the guitars like they were your Valentine.
No. My girlfriend takes that.
Oh, there you go. That's that. By the way, the end of that joke is the flying V guitar. That's the one you want.
Yes.
That's great. What kind of guitar is it? Well, are you a Fender man or a Gibson or something else?
I like pretty much anything that can play metal, and so I got an LTD.
Okay.
H308, whatever that means. Basically, it's an 8-string guitar.
Oh, interesting. What are the other strings apart from the normal 6? Are they deeper or higher?
They're deeper. It has like the E, and it goes down to a B and F sharp.
Okay. Yeah, I dabble. I've dabbled very lightly in a variety of instruments, and so my guitar, which everyone can hear in our recent release Dashite song, the third Fallout Day song, I have a Fender Dreadnought, and it's this acoustic guitar, and I even have a nice whatchamajigger, abalone outlay to the sound hole. It was great too. I got it super cheap because it had a small cosmetic mark on the face of it, but it's right. I play right-handed. I'm right-handed, and the mark is right below like where your wrist would be when you're playing. So it's like you don't even see it, and I didn't care. I just wanted a guitar at that point, and admittedly, I didn't want to get anything too expensive because I wasn't sure what amount of use I'd actually get out of the guitar. But I did use it to ask my girl to prom in senior year, and we dated for a little bit, so that that paid off. Some schnooky time.
In the comments, needing something else to rant about politics, I dare you.
Oh geez, no. We try to keep politics out of podcasts because that's a big that's a big.
And Vermont's back.
Just in time. That's a big hang up for me is I get so annoyed, especially in Rooster Teeth when they go on like a big political rant, and so I try not to do that as much as possible here.
Yeah, we try and avoid podcast. We don't avoid podcasts. We do a lot of podcasts. We avoid politics here as much as possible. It doesn't, we make horse videos. We have nothing to do with
horse politics are way more interesting anyway, like building our own societies and stuff. Like in Duchess Horror, exactly. I had a lot of fun actually designing how the count our Chamber of Nine would work and how their little backstory for the islands would be. What do you think of President Taft? President Taft, he had a whole herd of ponies, and dang ponyta.
A little better than Prime Minister Trudeau.
Okay, so... Oh, sorry. I was interrupting.
Go for it.
Has anyone brought... while I was gone, did anyone bring up the Casual Brony's last response? Something about out of the loop for a while? I'm assuming not. He was poking us in the chat, so...
you might have to introduce it. I'm reading through and I don't see it.
Okay. He said, I've been out of the loop for a while now. Since when did you guys discuss this stuff? I assume he means Samurai Jack. What's going on? How's the FOE series coming along? So it's like 3 questions, and the third one is one of those ones that will really that usually bugs us.
Oh yeah. The podcasts are almost their own self-contained, like, our discussions and just our, it's basically an excuse to chat with each other and then broadcast it, and if you guys like it, you could listen or not. And so the last, 4 weeks, especially in the title of the podcast, we've been talking about the end of Samurai Jack.
Yeah. I mean, because essentially what Skybolt and I usually end up ranting on, among many of the other things, we end up ranting on the thing that we have the most in common, which is writing.
Yes.
Usually we end up so if you're new to the podcast, normally the podcast will always have a section in it where Skybolt and I will pull out a show and we will dissect its writing. We sometimes will be quite shallow, just touching it a little bit, or sometimes we will go right the fuck in there and rip it to shreds. Nicely. We dissect it with love.
Dissect it with love. I like that. That's a good.
Right.
That's a good term.
It's a great term.
Yeah.
Question in the comment section.
How's the FOE series coming along? It's dead. It's very, very dead. It has nothing to do with us. Oh my god.
Does he mean the animated series? Yeah, I'm sorry. If you watch Stabletech's last video, here's a quick rundown. We'll give you the bog pill explanation of we left because nothing was happening and we were the only ones producing content for the channel. And so we're like, why don't we just make our own channel for our content so that it is actually the star rather than hiding in the shadow of this bullshit series that will never exist. And so then 5 months of nothing on the Stabletech channel, and then they're like, yeah, no, we're closed. And so then they closed down. And now we are slowly working on a documentary about Stabletech and how everything went down, and hopefully we'll have it out by the end of the year. Because we want to put a lot of gold into it. We want to make it as good as what I think both of us are roughly basing it off of, which is the Waking Sleeping Beauty documentary, which is an excellent documentary about the rebirth of Disney Animation Studios, and more importantly, about the egos of the people at the top and how that ruined things.
We really... Roy Mustang, if you go take a look at the very beginning of the podcast, you will find background information and inspiration for the most recent Wasteland Survival Guide.
Yes, yeah, we have, of course, more Wasteland Survival Guides rolling out. I mean, hell, I've got 4 in the waiting for audio right now, and then I've got 5 more in writing and development. So it's going great. Like I said, we're gonna have a fully working damn Wasteland Survival Guide if it kills both of us.
Exactly. And then I'm going... My plan is that once we have our fully working Wasteland Survival Guide, I'm just going to go to random conventions around South Africa with it on disc and just bug people with it.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do that with the Anthem logs to try and get more people to come in, literally just go print it out into a CD and go to conventions and just poke people with them. I wasn't going to go with the pony stuff because South Africans are slightly more skeptical, considering they're slightly more skeptical of pony stuff. They are considering that I think of the people listening. I think other people who listen to our channel, one of them is South African.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he's in this chat. I think he was in here earlier. Oh yeah, there he is, Mr. Walt Lawrence.
That's good though. I mean, then you see, it's like a small pond thing. Then you're at the top of the South African brony community.
Yeah, I'd like to think it's either me or Liesel, who's one of our more prolific artists.
Nice.
I'd like to say it's a toss-up between the two of us, not to brag.
But what was the question before Wasteland was, have we ever gotten in any serious legal trouble? No, I'm actually very I'm very goody two-shoes, and I have to stay that way now to maintain my security clearance because I work at a NORAD base. So there's that.
No, the worst.
Okay, what else? What's the other? Next upload, that's not a podcast. Yes, but I don't want to make any promises. We don't like to make promises here, but
promises are.
I want to try and have the next Anthem log up in this coming week.
I mean, we just had a Wasteland Survival Guide. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic, if I do say so myself.
And also, Terminal Secrets and Confessions are both on the way. You have to give us a little bit more time for the je ne sais quoi. And then especially Confessions, this might be the new longest one. So there you go. There's a lot coming.
Yeah. Like, sometimes it takes us a while to do our content, but God, it's fucking awesome when it comes out.
Plus, I think we do a good job of filling in the blanks with fun stuff.
Oh God, we really, really do. But we really do fill in the blanks.
Like I said, I'm looking forward at the very end of it all. I am going to print out Wasteland Survival Guide in a really nice way, sort of like the from Halo. Was it Halo 4? The diary, the super $150 box came with Halsey's diary. I want something like that, but Wasteland Survival Guide with all the pictures and that same that old Courier font that we use in the videos, and that's gonna be so fun.
Oh God, yes, absolutely.
Confessions isn't movie length, it's novel length. That's the point. But what's so funny is even at the end of the whole series, it's not going to even come close to the original Fallout. Like, I think I said this before, the final end game, it'll probably be like 250,000 words, which in terms of the original Fallout Equestria is barely meeting Zecora, I think. Or, what is it? Yeah. It's right after you, damn it. Maybe right after you kill the goddess, that's where it would end up.
Shit, yeah. I mean, Confessions is fuck long, but it's not quite to the length of Fallout Equestria.
Yeah, and the only problem of the releases is that we're producing it as a radio play. I mean, if it were strictly script, like me just posting a link for, a Google Docs, I mean, we'd already have episode 7 out like next month or whenever I finish these edits. Yeah. But it's better this way. Trust me.
Yeah, it's funny to see how content does get longer as it goes. I think I'm catching a little bit of the Skybolt syndrome. The new episode of Terminal Secrets is easily going to be the longest of the 4.
And then the next one is another one of my episodes.
Yeah. Episode 5 is another one of Skybolt's episodes, and there is so much shit that's going on in that. And then episode 6, we'll see what's happening. We'll see what happens with that.
It's gonna be fun.
Skybolt will. The plot with episode 5 is just.
I'm going to do my damnedest. I want it to be the best. I don't want it to be a what is it, Return of the Jedi? I want it to be like the strongest one of the puzzle, but that's hard to do. So we'll see what happens. Of my own personal little trilogy. It's just for my own sake. I'm trying to top myself.
So, DJ Strike asks, what Fallout games have y'all played and which ones are y'all's favorite? My favorite, he says, is my favorite Black Isle one, he says, is Fallout 2, and his favorite Bethesda one is Fallout New Vegas. I know Skybolt loves New Vegas.
I have a obvious affinity of New Vegas because of the Western bias and Mojave, and I literally did in college. I had another friend who I evangelized into being an absolute Fallout obsessee like myself, and we went on a huge road trip from California over to Vegas, and we stopped at all the places. We saw the real Good Springs and the Tavern and Prim and the car and Vegas, and we went up to Zion National Park and everything. It was so freaking fun because we're so hopelessly devoted to this damn series. And so I love Vegas mostly because of the Western bias, to be honest, but I love Fallout 3 and I love Fallout 4 more every day. Like, it really, has great staying power. I'm just still pissed that they didn't have more story DLC. Like, they should have had 4 Far Harbor-esque things. And I don't know, Nuka. Okay, here's my problem with Nuka World is all the companions hate you if you team up with the except Dogmeat. If you team up with any of the raiders, the companions hate you. And so I'm like, I just want to finish the damn story. But Curie's all like, oh, you cannot do it with the raiders. And so I was like, okay, fine. I never finished that at all. Like, the only thing I was doing was trying to find the damn motherboards so I could get the Exo-1 space armor. But I couldn't even do that. So I'm like, I walked away from it and restarted with my modded playthrough. So, and then I didn't play the old ones. I'm sorry, I'll wrap mine real quick. I didn't play the old ones because it's hard to go back, and especially the format. I don't like the isometric kind of playing style. But I've read all the history on the wikis, and obviously I'm a hopeless junkie, and then and that's little by little filtering into my own writing. So hopefully you enjoy that.
it's really, really. It always kind of bugs me that about the fact that all of Fallout 4's companions they're all such goody two shoes. Like that really. That's always been a sticking point for me. So honestly, I really love the isometric style. That's one of my favorite possible modes of play. So I really, really enjoy the first two. I don't see the massive appeal of New Vegas, though. I really, really don't. Like, it has a few strong points. The writing is spectacular, but the world itself is... Oh, it's so dull. It's so empty and dull.
Yeah, the emptiness is a little bit of a problem. I wish you could at least, like, explore the entirety of the world map. Like, if you've ever seen one of those memes, the actual movable space is much smaller than the square. It's even smaller than a circle circumscribed inside the square, which is kind of bullshit, or inscribed, whatever. And so, it is kind of bullshit in that way, but I don't know. Maybe, again, I have strong West Coast bias, so that's probably what's propping up my own love of it.
It is still a very, very... It's still a strong game. Like I said, for the writing, the role-playing elements to it, the mods. But, so for the Bethesda games, I've got to go with 3. I think it is the strongest of the Bethesda games.
I mean, 3 is what kicked off all this in the first place. The rebirth of the series. Yeah, it's hard not to love that.
The thing is, 3's got the weakest writing.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Sorry, of those two, like, there's much... It's kind of a toss-up between 3 and 4, really. Neither of them have particularly strong writing, but it's not the writing that I played for. With those specific series, anyway.
3 has the best atmosphere, in my opinion. All the world.
I know an RPG, like, it really does. The story is so important to it, but no, it's the atmosphere. It's the role playing. It's the being the fucking the lone wanderer.
I mean, for instance, that's why I love Fallout, but I hate the Elder Scrolls, is because I've never been a sword and magic kind of guy. It's never been my interest for a number of reasons, and so, like, I owned Oblivion when I got my 360. I got Oblivion Elder Scrolls 4, and it did nothing for me. I got, like, maybe 2 hours in, and I'm like, eh. And then when Fallout 3 came out, then it was, the second coming.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, DJ Strike, over there in the comments. Worst part about 4 is the stupid speech system. That was one of the most enjoyable things about Fallout, is just max your charisma and your speech and just talk your way out of everything.
Right.
Like, just see how much you can talk your way out of. I love that so much. I think someone up there was saying something about what was it? Saying something about Fallout New Orleans. Whether or not Fallout New Orleans happens, it will not be done by Obsidian Entertainment. I know everyone wants it to be done by Obsidian, but they are all, like, really, really fucking busy working on making Pillars of Eternity 2 fucking glorious. So we won't get another Obsidian Fallout game, unfortunately.
Commenting on what Go Tigers said, Fallout Chicago actually was a thing in Fallout Tactics. It starts off in Chicago with... and you can check out the opening, like, 10 minutes online. I think Tactics has a really neat setup, and it has some really neat lore, but it's like... I think it's a different game from all of them, because it's not isometric, but it's sort of like a shooter RPG. It's different than every other game. But it doesn't stay in Chicago either. It goes south. It's sort of like Fallout Midwest, essentially.
Being... Sorry. Wasn't there talk of an official Fallout show or movie?
I honestly don't think that'll happen. It's just like Halo, where you can't beat the games with a movie. I mean, the games are cinematic enough and storied enough that, like, you couldn't, like... I mean, these days movies are shit. Let's be honest. It's just like the Emoji Movie. It's like, I don't like movies anymore. I want a small, like, series, a program. Like, for instance, Stephen King, his recent adaptation of his John F. Kennedy alternate reality show, 11/22/62, on Hulu. That was great. It was an 8-episode, like, mini-series, and it was a well-executed adaptation of his novel. And I think that's the future. Like, for instance, Netflix, they're pouring tons of money into the show called Altered Carbon, which is a very cyberpunk kind of series based on a novel from like 20 years ago. That looks awesome, and I'm waiting for that. I've been listening to the book, and it's fun. It's very like Ghost in the Shell, but different, and also like off-world. They're like other planets and stuff.
It's kind of like, I would love to see I would love to see more miniseries being made. I think Fallout would do well as a series, but it would have to be done. It would have to be done properly. You know,
Yes.
If you've got all of these fan adaptations going around, like, you know, you've got the fucking my all-time favorite pet peeve, my fucking enemy, the fucking Fallout Revelations. God, I hate that. Every fiber of my soul. Why does that get so much love and attention? Everything about it is poorly executed. I cannot think of a single thing about that I enjoy. It's just, and that's not, the thing is, that's not even fucking, that's not a subjective opinion. That is just a case of, it is legitimately fucking terrible. It is awfully shot. They don't know when and where to use their CGI. It feels like fucking baby's first fan fiction bullshit. Oh my god. And you have the same people who bitch about Bethesda's writing in the Fallout games, who will go and watch Fallout Revelations and be like, this is beautiful, this is so well written, this is so great. Fucking go, no, fuck you.
Can I make a suggestion? Let's go back to if we were, you know, showrunners and making studio pitch, how I would handle a Fallout like extend or like either a full series like a Westworld kind of thing. Let's go off of that. If we're like, you know, getting 10 episodes, super seasons, 1 hour long, rated R, all the good stuff, and studio money to really do all the kick-ass special effects, I would start like 5 years before the end of the world. I want the world set up, because a lot of that pre-war lore is really interesting. Or maybe set in the framework of, like, Fallout Equestria, where you start off with a character getting out of a vault, and then you have a lot of big flashback scenes showing all the details. But, I mean, like, the whole Gobi campaign, and, taking back Alaska, like, the dynamics of the war, what's happening in other places of the world, you know, the European Commonwealth devolving, and, you know, the Middle East, it's just like, everything's going to shit. That would be really cool to see, and then have them build up to the crescendo of the Great War at the end of Season 1, and then go full bore into some Fallout storyline following, like, you know, maybe they could do the Van Buren thing and focus on, like, a Texas-based, like, enclave chapter at, like, Fort Hood, or some, you know, like, I don't know. There's a lot of cool things they could do. They could jump around and show series adapted scenes from the beginnings of the Brotherhood of Steel. They could have a short thing following Roger Maxon, and they could have a thing showing the Enclave hunkering down and the creation of President Eden. You know, they could, like, really, like, just jump back and forth between all the different places.
Exactly. Okay, what would we miss in the comments section?
Yeah. What is Fallout Revelations? I'll let you cover that.
Okay, so Fallout Revelations is this. It's a Fallout fan series that has been praised as something that looks like it's a professional fucking series, and is essentially. Oh god, it's awful. It's really bad. And people are praising the writing, and okay, to be fair, there are moments where the costume design is all right. That's about it. That really is about it. Everything else about it is just, it makes me want to kill myself. It is one of the worst pieces of Fallout-related content I've ever seen, and fucking, this is in a world where the Wasteland Workshop DLC exists, okay? Okay? This is like, if Horse Armor DLC was a movie, it would be this. You know, just, I hate it to such an extent. So, just type, if you're curious, go type it in, and you can go watch it and whatever. But yeah, there's got to be something. Chris Finley asks, in hindsight, what do you consider the dumbest thing you've ever done? Skybolt.
Wait, before we jump to that, I agree. My comment was, I agree with Walt Lawrence in that the Wayside Creations people, they do the best fan Fallout production design. The rifles and obviously the settings they have to make the best of, but like the costuming and stuff, I would legit be okay with that in like a Netflix show. They do a damn good job. Even I think it was their Red Star little short where they had a CG Securitron. I'm not sure if it was Vic. It was just a Securitron. They did a pretty damn good job on that in terms of like, you know, getting shading right and light and really like setting it within a normal live action context. So yeah, Wayside Creations, I mean, they've got like 6 hours of Fallout stuff now. You could watch it all. It's really solid.
They do, although they did hit a major stumble in Red Star with the with the super mutant.
Yeah.
Like that was an awful design. Yeah. I loved everything about Red Star except their super mutant. That was just like so. You could see they're trying, but it just looks really fucking dumb.
No, I agree. I blocked that out of my mind, actually.
Right. Aside from that, they do a very good job with that. I love their designs. Comment section. Oh, right. Dumbest thing you've ever done, Mr. Bolt.
Dumbest thing I've ever done. Probably something from high school. You know, it's always something in high school or middle school. I couldn't like exactly pick one. I don't know. It's in high school, I remember I told a girl I liked her, and it was a little bit too early in the process of that relationship, because we were like sort of friends, but sort of not, and just like always, it essentially killed whatever friendship we had or would have had after that. So it was that sucked. But yeah, that's probably the dumbest thing I did. She was a really good friend, so.
It was.
I should say that's the dumbest thing I'm willing to admit on a podcast. Don't want to get into the real skeletons.
Right. What about anyone else? Anyone else got some dumb shit that they pulled?
Yeah, Meat Curtains, you wanna comment on this? Notice how she answered right away. I like this. This is good precedent.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, I just realised I'm the only girl on the podcast. Also, hi, I'm back.
Yes, hi. Are you bleeding still?
I don't know. I've got a plaster on my finger.
You're gonna have to amputate. That's what NHS is for, right? They just chop things off until you're healed again.
Uh-huh. Sounds about right. Most stupidest thing I've ever done. I've done so many stupid things I've lost count. Let me think. A lot of them does involve blood, because half the time I do stupid shit, I end up cutting myself. But not in a bad way. It's just more of a case of zone out of what I'm doing, and then next minute I know I'm bleeding.
Oh yeah.
I think the most funniest one I've done was my brother used to do catering at college, so he had this really sharp knife set.
Oh no.
I just love how you go, oh no, straight away. I didn't stab anyone. Yet, maybe. No. Basically, we had these baguettes, and I was slicing one open so I could, like, make a sarnie. Shut up. And I zoned out from what I was doing, and I sliced into my finger and almost took the top bit of my finger off.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't scream. I didn't do anything. I just took a very sharp inhale. Just a sharp.
Is this why bloody is like a common like slang in British culture? Bloody hell, because you're literally bleeding every time you make a mistake.
Yeah. So I don't know how or why, but my mum and my dad come running into the kitchen. It's like, what did you do? I'm like, hold my finger up. And then next thing I know, my whole hand is covered in blood.
Nice.
You know how you turn a tap on?
No, I don't.
It was... Oh. Anyway, it was basically someone attached a tap to the end of my finger and just turned it on. There was that much blood. I tinted the sink red.
It was that time of the month where you're just bleeding from somewhere. It's like, well, I mean, this is a universal apparatus. Let's just go with this.
Yeah, it just happened.
Wasn't that the original invention of the tampon anyway? It was supposed to stop bleeding like bullet wounds in like World War I?
Yep.
Nice.
Pretty much. We just kind of stole the idea and be like, yeah, we're going to make this into a feminine sanitary item now, so deal with it, bitches.
I mean, that's cultural appropriation.
To be fair, bullet wounds aren't quite as prevalent now as they were during World War One.
Yeah, now you just die in like a massive explosion from a Moab.
I've upset the chat now. Okay, I have more stupid stories if you wish to hear them.
Sure, I could. If it makes you feel better, though, I had a friend who also shaved off his fingertip in, he was a very handsy, like a welder, like a tradesman kind of guy, and he had a lathe at home, and he was making a sword, and yeah, he sliced off the end of his finger with the lathe.
Okay, all my stories will involve blood.
Fantastic.
Well, Oakheart has a thing for blood.
Wait, can we make a request? Do you have any stories that involve blood and lesbians at all? I mean, we should start with those.
No.
Damn it. Okay, go on.
Unless you count me, but it doesn't technically involve other people. Technically.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I was like 6 years old.
Okay.
And I'd been watching TV, and one of these stupid commercials came on where all the girls had shaved arms. So, and they all had like these beautiful skins, and I'm thinking to myself, I could look like that. So I went upstairs and got one of my mum's razors out of a packet.
Oh no.
And what is it with you, Sky?
I'm just commenting. Continue. I'm adding context.
Okay. Yeah.
Ignore me.
Oh, that's not very hard to do, dear.
Oh.
That's adorable.
Here I am, a 6-year-old, sat on the side of the bath with a razor in hand. And I don't know why, but I started shaving the hairs off my arm.
Well, I mean, you gotta start at some time.
Well, yeah. Well, I was a 6-year-old.
So did you even have hairs on your arm at that point?
No!
I was gonna say.
I don't know why I was doing it. And then I angled the blade wrong.
Oh no!
I kind of sliced my arm half, pretty much the length of my forearm.
How are you alive? Should we put you in like a bubble or something so that you stop cutting yourself accidentally?
I don't know. But yeah, I managed to put a really nice slice straight across my arm. And next minute I know my whole arm's covered in blood. And it's like, what do I do? What do I do now? Because I've got a red line on my arm and it's pouring with blood. But the fun thing is I managed to skip over all the arteries in my arm. I never nicked any of them.
Well, yeah, you'd have to cut pretty deep to hit an artery. I don't know if you can do that with a razor. Were you using a straight razor like Sweeney Todd?
No, it was just a normal razor blade.
Okay.
Encased in plastic.
Yeah.
So my arm's bleeding.
Yeah.
And I shout my mum. She comes upstairs. And it didn't hurt when I actually cut it. It didn't actually hurt at all. But I started crying because I panicked, thinking I was going to get into trouble for basically slicing my arm open.
Well, yeah, you're sick.
So I yeah, because I was sick. So I sat on the side of the bath, crying my eyes out while my mum cleans up the blood and bandages my arm up.
Do you have a scar now?
Yes, I do have a scar.
Okay, so you see, the answer to that is you tell people you got in a fight, and then that's like street cred.
Yeah.
I can actually still see the scar on my arm. It's a lot, and it still takes up a fair portion of my arm as well.
Nice.
Cool. I have too many scars and with too many stories.
The only way that story would have been better is if Nirvana were playing in the background.
Another stupid story I've got. Have you ever owned a cat?
Yes, I have scars from cats that we've owned. It's one reason I hate cats.
Yeah. We have a fairly large cat called Felix. His nickname is Tank at the minute. So Tank decided to go on the top of my wardrobe because somehow he managed to get up there.
Yep.
And he sat funny on one of my laptop bags and fell off the top of my wardrobe. I was underneath at the time, so I lost a chunk of my arm.
Oh my
the cat.
gosh.
He fell off
Seriously,
the wardrobe.
Oakheart, we're just going to stick you in a box.
So I have a lovely scar joining the razor blade scar on my arm from the cat.
Lovely.
So yeah.
Cats are mean. In all fairness, I do have a scar from one of my dogs also, where I was like running around the pool in summer, and she likes to chase people when they're jumping in the pool, and one of her canines, like the tooth canine, caught my leg, and it took a nice little canine-sized chunk out with her. And damn, did that hurt. I thought I would need stitches, but they didn't give me stitches, but it felt like a tooth-sized chunk came out of my leg with it.
Oh, that also reminds me of another weird story.
Go for it.
That involves getting hurt. No blood this time, but a broken bone.
Oh.
My mum had this weight training set when I was younger. And it came with these weighted balls filled with sand covered in rubber.
Okay.
Me and my brother thought it would be an absolute brilliant idea to chuck them around at each other. I caught it wrong and fractured my little finger.
Oh no.
Oh, good lord.
Little Oakheart's little finger.
So I broke that. And that's like the only bone in my body that I I have actually ever broken.
That's the same with me because I'm very indoorsy, and also I drink my milk. So I did have a bad sprain though. Also in high school, I was at a party and I jumped in a pool in the shallow end that was way more shallow than I expected, and so I sprained my left ankle 3 weeks before the big show, the big spring musical where I played the star. I was Horton the elephant in Seussical the musical. And we had dancing numbers. The only thing that saved me was I had a few weeks to heal, and the entire second act of the musical, I'm literally sitting in a tree because Horton the elephant. It was the only saving grace. Otherwise, I don't know what would happen. So that sucked. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. So...
Full disclosure, I kind of fell asleep for a second, and when I woke up, I just heard Stappled saying that he was sitting in a tree. So,
oh my gosh!
So that's a thing. I think I should probably take a hint from that. You guys continue the podcast, but I'm going to drop out and go to bed.
Okay. Bye, James.
Farewell, everyone. Farewell.
Okay. What about you, Ryan? Do you have any bloody good tales to share with us? Ryan? Is he gone too? Is it just the two of us? Okie? Oh my god, am I alone? Oh god, I'm all alone. It's just like high school. No, just kidding. Kind of. Hello, Oakheart? Is anyone there? Okay, it looks like this has turned into the Skybolt monologue cast, which is what I usually do for the patrons. Hello? I think she's there and she's just not saying anything. Okay, be that way. Chat, did you have any questions for me specifically? What wartime scars do you have? Yes, I have many scars from the upcoming Civil War. That's going to be great. I'll probably lose an arm or something. Silence. Yeah, start singing sad songs. 1 is the loneliest number that you ever knew. Oh, here's a fun, since we've talked about childhood shows this podcast, I watched some Disney shows growing up, like, frickin' Recess, with all the kids in 5th grade and the old mean teacher lady and stuff. And I actually heard a lot of great classic songs from, like, that movie and that show in general. I remember, I think it was the 5th grade movie where they had the Green Tambourine song. And so my dad is huge into old, like, 60s, like, psychedelic rock, like, Beatles and Bob Dylan. And I learned a lot of Stones from him. So that was pretty good. Yeah, actually, that's sort of what raised me on Rolling Stones in general. I've always liked them more than the Beatles for a number of reasons, not the least of which are all the all the great Vietnam stuff with the Stones in games like Call of Duty Black Ops, which is really the only Call of Duty game I played in any significant quantity because, well, I did play through Call of Duty 2, but only like once or twice when I actually got my Xbox. Then it was all Halo 2. Is anyone else still here? I keep hearing, like, this hum every, like, 10 seconds. I think it's Oakheart messing with me. Whatever. Anyway, so, yeah, I always like the Stones the best in that sense. There's quite a few Stone songs that I just, like, that hit me more than, like in high school we had this senior video where I used, Gimme Shelter as the credit song, which I thought was a great credit song. Yeah, Black Ops Zombies was great. Black Ops also was great because I had an older brother who grew up like, NES generation, so he is not a shooter kind of guy at all, but we would use Black Ops. They had AI, whatchamajigger. They had AI enemies in the co-op mode, so I would be on with, whatchamacallit? Oakheart, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to go and get me dinner.
Okay. It's just us right now. So, are there any other stories you had, or did you want to introduce a new topic for just us to chat about?
Well, I've got plenty more stupid stories if you wish to hear them.
Yeah, go for it. We need more Oakheart in the podcast.
Okay. I'm surprised I still remember this one. I was like 2 years old.
Okay.
We had chunks of wood round the back of the house, which I was mauling about with. And I dropped one of them. And I managed to impale my own foot with a nail, which was like 3 inches long.
Uh-huh.
I still have the scar for that.
Nice.
It went almost all the way through my foot, missing the bones and all the arteries in my foot as well. So that was fun.
Nice.
I never went near wood with nails in again.
We could take turns on horrible injury stories if you want. When I was in 3rd grade, we had this old inflatable chair because the 90s had ridiculous toys like inflatable chairs, and it was on its last, like, 2 of the arm and the back were already deflated, so we were about to throw it out. So I'm like, okay, we should destroy it properly before we throw it out. So my friends and I, we must have seen like Mortal Kombat or something stupid with throwing knives. We got a bunch of screwdrivers from my dad's toolbox, and we were throwing them at the thing like throwing knives. And damned if the fates of history didn't turn that thing in the air and it hit right at the butt, which then launched back at me like a missile and hit me. I thought it was in my eye. I thought it like went into my eyeball and then back out, but it hit right on the ridge of my nose, like millimeters from my tear duct. It could have blinded me, but didn't, thank God. And so I was bleeding from that, and I still have a divot in my nose bone where that frickin' Phillips head screwdriver almost dug into my face.
Wow. My brother's back.
Also, do you have your phone getting text messages? I'm hearing like a vibration right on the table every single time.
It's a chat I am in on. I've just put my phone on mute and I'm getting a phone call.
Oh my god!
Brilliant! Hang on.
Do you want to answer it on chat? Want to share with the class?
Hang on. I'll be back in a moment.
Well, bangers and mash. Okay, back to the Skyblog monocast. Yeah, so normally what I talk about in those Patreon podcasts, which you can hear if you are kind enough to join us as a patron at any donation tier, I think you get those. It's essentially an hour of me like having a stream of consciousness. So one of the last ones we were talking about diseases because of some reason. And so we were talking about like, Ebola came back and in the news, and we're talking about the whole story like 2-3 years ago where that Doctors Without Borders guy got Ebola and they brought him back to Atlanta, which was the stupidest damn thing ever, because it's not like, a horrible deadly disease that like is still very bad, even in a very controlled like first world setting. It can spread bad and cause a lot of damage inside of you, if you've ever seen that like Kyrgyzstan video on how Ebola works. But still, it's like the other problem too is that, yes, I know there's the CDC center in Atlanta where they've got all the crazy world-ending bugs like freaking smallpox. But at the same time, Atlanta also has one of the busiest airports in the world next to probably Shanghai, which is Atlanta's Hartfeld-Jackson, which connects to the entire freaking world through Delta Airlines and all the others. And it's like, that's not like a horrible, movie setup. Just bring someone with a horrible disease right through Atlanta, and that gets out into the airport and every other country in the world in one day. So anyway, I thought that was dumb, and I thought they need to set up another offshore containment facility like Plum Island, New York, which is this, I think it started out as some kind of like animal laboratory, and then there was an asylum there at one point. It's like the Shutter Island movie with the Leonardo DiCaprio, if you've ever seen that. And New York's got a bunch of those crazy off-island, like, deep containment things. So that's what we need. Some place like that, offshore, where you can put these people and not infect, the world. All right, back to the chat. 2321, what the hell did I forget? I'm not sure. Well, we were probably still talking about Samurai Jack at that time code in this glorious podcast. Again, if you have questions, you can you can ask questions. Otherwise, I'll probably just keep talking until we round out a good 2 hours. For those that haven't caught it yet, I am in the process of moving, which is great and also bad. It's great because long term, I'm going to be able to go back to having every other Friday off, which is so great because I haven't had that now because I've been working at a damn hospital doing engineering crap, and you have to be there every day of the week, or weekdays for us. But now my new job, I can get off every other Friday and work 9-hour days, which is glorious. I had that in the Navy in Virginia, and that's essentially how I write a lot of confessions when I'm not on a plane, is I have like a 3-day weekend, like Duchess Horror, where I had the Friday off, and it's like I did, various the weekend groceries and everything. And then in the evening... Are you back?
Mic. Hello. Yeah, I've been back a while. I've been trying to talk, but forgot my mic was actually muted. Okay.
Was that an important call? Did the Queen need something?
No, my work colleague seeing if I was alright and that I need to send him his hours later. We have a question. Not sure if you've already answered it.
Okay.
Quantum Zim, to both of you, any games you love the story but hate the gameplay, or vice versa?
Ooh, that is a good one. Would you like to start? Ladies first?
I'm kind of eating, so you go first.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I could probably give one of each. A game where I love the story but hate the gameplay, or vice versa. Okay. Love the story, hate the gameplay. What was I just going to say? Wolfenstein. I recently got Wolfenstein: The New Order, just like cheap because whatever. It was, I think it was spring break. I had like a good chunk of time off, and I'm like, well, I was on YouTube and I saw the stupid, the German Berlin version of House of the Rising Sun again, and that is such a great trailer. I love that trailer. It's very well executed. Alternate history. I'm a freaking junkie for alternate history crap like that, and and so I got the game because I was excited to play that a little bit. Then I got held up, like, the first level was fine. That was fun, shooting from, I think it was a Liberty bomber, and then you land on some kind of, like, seaside castle that, of course, is a Nazi, super Nazi, robo-Nazi compound. And that was a good level. But then the second level, like, right off the bat, after the time skip, where now you're in 1965 occupied America, and it's like, I get stuck at the gate. There's like a Nazi like gate guard, and I try to break in there, and I just keep dying. I mean, it's almost like Ratchet and Clank, where the first Ratchet and Clank, I got stuck at a level, and this is even before 2005, before there's any internet guides or anything, and F me, I could not get past that part, so I lost interest. I don't like hard games, there's some people that thrive off of that endless challenge and the Dark Souls mentality. I'm the opposite. Games for me are a story that I can play inside of, like Halo, and it's like, if I get good enough at a game to play Legendary like Halo, that's fun, usually, but it's like, I'll go through it on normal first because I just want to soak up the atmosphere and the story, and games for me aren't a challenge. Games are a relaxing escape, and I prefer it that way. So, Wolfenstein, that's a story that's interesting, but I couldn't do the gameplay. And then vice versa, good gameplay but terrible story would be... Fudge, I'm going through, like, the tracks of time and history. Probably... You know what? Time Crisis. I always loved the Time Crisis arcade games. I thought the shooting mechanic was great, but the story was weak. It's arcade level storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Oki. Now that you're back.
Mm-hmm. First game you will probably agree with me on if you've heard of it. Assassin's Creed. Number 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I absolutely love the storyline, but the controls are absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
It's like you go to walk, next minute you're jumping up on buildings, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Yeah. I'm currently reading the books for Assassin's Creed, and I thought, okay, I'll play the game. And it's like the storyline for it is very, very solid. It's well thought out. It's got very interesting back history to it, but the gameplay mechanics for it is awful.
Yeah, I played Assassin's Creed 1 and only 1 because that did kind of turn me off the entire series. So, yeah.
The controls are bad, but I love the storyline.
It is an interesting story.
Yes, it is. What's the other one? But yeah, that's like the only one I can think of for a minute because I've played loads of games.
That's really part of the rise of like playthroughs and let's plays and stuff, is that some people who really, they aren't get good levels of gamesmanship, and so you can watch the video either pure, like just someone posts a playthrough, or they have their fun commentary, like pick your favorite guy, the Markipliers or the PewDiePie or whatever. I actually watched, it was I think it technically counts as an indie game, that Little Nightmares. Did you ever see the trailers for that? Where it's like this little girl in like a yellow rain suit, and she's walking through this very Double Fine looking, like crazy Tim Burton-y ship world, and there's all these monsters chasing her, and they're like eating children or something, and she goes through the story, and it's not long. There's like an hour and a half playthrough where it's the whole game, and that was enjoyable. Very good, obviously horror games, very good sound design.
Okay,
here's another
now
one. Silent Hill. I suck. Most Japanese games are too hard for me. Silent Hill, though, I love the story. That original movie from 2005 or whatever is one of my favorite horror movies. I love that so much. The atmosphere, the inspiration from Centralia, Pennsylvania, which is a very real place, is very cool.
As for a game where I like the gameplay style, but could do with a bit more on the storyline, Crash Bandicoot from PlayStation 2.
Oh, the original? Or no, not from
the
PS2.
Original.
I think the original was PS1.
Crash Bandicoot was originally on PS1. The gameplay for it was absolutely brilliant for the time, but the storyline could have done with a bit more to it. Yeah,
it's like a Mario, storyline exists just for the game.
Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to see more backbone put into it. I mean, you get more information about the characters on the goddamn wiki than you do throughout the game.
Yeah. No, I'm very much an OG Crash fan. I had a friend, growing up, it was like sort of a group of friends of mine from school, and I was the Nintendo kid. I had my brother's NES and SNES, and then I had an N64, and then my friend across the street had the Dreamcast, and then our other friend, 4 blocks down, had the PlayStation. And so we'd, take turns at each other's houses, depending on who had, whatever system we wanted to play that weekend. And so I grew up playing Crash Bandicoot at my friend down the street's house. That was fun. So 1, 2, and 3, The Wrath of Cortex, were quality.
I quite liked Crash Team Racing.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I got pretty good at it too, until we ruined the game disc because someone spit water on it. And it was a chipped disc.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't an actual game disc. It was still fun, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, do you remember when chipping consoles used to be the major thing?
What, you mean like mods, like hacking them?
Yeah, before internet was a big major thing and you had to literally write down each individual code to input it.
Back in my day.
They had a thing where you would actually chip the console so you could play downloaded games. So if, say, you had like a chipped PlayStation 1, you could play games that had been downloaded and burnt onto a disc rather than shop-bought discs.
Yeah, no, I remember in the grand old days of Halo 2, there were so many great mods for Halo 2, and I was part of a clan in those days that we just get to play all sorts of them from the clan leader's server, and that was great, like breaking outside of the maps and going on like little Lord of the Rings-esque journeys to see all the, unfinished assets behind the scenes.
Yeah, best thing ever.
Yeah, no, those were fun times. In the chat, we had a short discussion on what the pony version of Nazis would be, and I mean, she already exists, which is very adorable. I don't think she would be an Earth pony though, because I mean, unicorn master race, so that wouldn't make sense.
You're technically not a unicorn.
I am a unicorn.
No,
unicorn. No, I'm not. No, I've had to make that very clear for everyone who hates that, and it's like, no, the whole point of the OC was prosthetics, and very auto male. It's like, was it frickin' Needle? Of course, had to run it by her boyfriend, your OC sucks guy, and No, I did not consent to that. My OCs are great. My OCs form very large fan fiction stories, so fuck off.
Why can't you like me? Dead. Being dead is so simple.
Oh, is that part of your backstory? Is she's undead?
Yeah, she's an undead pony being kept alive by magical gauntlets that had a tendency to set fire to things.
Is that why she's a hamburger? She got grilled?
No. Yeah. Oakheart has a very interesting backstory, to be fair. She is technically undead.
At least she's not like an edgy OC like frickin' Ryan's, of course, is.
Ryan's OC is just weird. Wait, is Ryan's the red and black one?
In the middle, yeah. Maximum edge.
Yeah. Why has he inspected the cup?
Because it's got the frickin' the marker from Dead Space, which I think is part of the inspiration.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. He's probably wondering if it's actually going to transform. It's a porcelain cup. It's not going to do shit.
Except smash if you drop it from any height.
Yeah. And I'm just still finding a way to kill you.
Of course. In the chat, OC name is Fondling Rifles. I like that. That sounds hot. That sounds like a very K, 4chan's K-board thing to do. It's like, you gotta fondle the rifles. You gotta treat your baby girl right so she supports you in combat.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask if you had any rifles to fondle, but it sounds like you're more of a Joker type, where you collect knives and sharp things.
Actually, I do own a couple of guns.
Oh, nice.
But they're soft guns.
Oh, of course, yeah.
They're still technically guns, I suppose. One's a G14 Super Spring pistol.
Nice.
One's they're all spring-loaded, to be fair. One's based off M16.
Nice.
An AK-47 assault rifle. And I think that's about it. I had a machete at one point, but that got broke.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember my brother for a birthday or something got me the machete from Book of Eli. That one with like the cool sort of like sway to it. It's very curvy. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been fun rolling into summer. We got a lot of good stuff in the making, and obviously you've been busy on James's furry series, and then you'll have more lines coming up for confessions.
It's like he gives me a really interesting role, and then it's like you're dead now. You're dead to me. You don't come back from the car crash. It's like, well, at least I went out with a bang, but yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm.
I also have a Ruger 1022. I got a little carbine back in high school. That was my first gun, actually. That was fun. 22 long rifle, doing little, just a little target shooting. We were going to go, like, quail hunting or something, but we never got around to it.
Mm.
I heard the Inkling was bringing back fox hunting. Is that coming down the tube?
It's not going down well, that. I want it to stay banned.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very inhumane. I mean, as daft as it sounds, but would you like to be hunted down for absolutely no reason just because you're a fox?
It depends on if we're talking like alien overlords or something.
Are we on the page here?
I'm sorry. I can't give context in animals. It's but yeah, no, that's fine. It's that's all part of the vote, which I thought was really interesting that you guys just called like a snap election like that. Like that's something we would have to change our constitution to do and just be like, okay, election next week, guys. Like what?
Yeah, I know. It's like even after Theresa May said, "Oh, we're not going to do any more elections," a week later, we're having an election. It's like, fucking one woman.
Oh, that's what I was going to bring up to James before he had to go sleepy. The next show we could obsess over is one that I've obsessed over with other friends for a little while, which is Sherlock, the series with Benedict Cucumber.
Benedict Cucumber.
Yeah.
Why not Eggs Benedict?
What was it? I think it was that Gordon guy show where he's like, I think you're the only actor who's got a more ridiculous name than Sherlock Holmes, which I thought that was great commentary. Yeah, so Sherlock's been great. The 4th series has just come to Netflix, which is, I think quality. I loved it. I thought, especially playing off of the Victorian, like, the episode 0 thing from last year, I thought it was very clever.
Uh-huh.
Are you a fan at all, or does this sound like LARPing?
Of Sherlock Holmes? I never really watched it, to be honest.
It's very...
I know that...
Sorry,
go on.
It's very much like movies, essentially. It's like each series is just 3 episodes that are like an hour and a half long. So it's like they make a trilogy every 2 years.
Yeah. I may not know the show, but I know the house number it lives at in the show.
Of course.
1175? Something like that? No, that's completely wrong.
That is completely wrong.
Yeah. I know it's 11 something B.
No.
Nope. Never mind then.
I'm sorry. I thought you had this. This is like the one thing you bring up. It's 221 Baker Street.
That's the one.
That is the one. You know what's great, too? Sherlock Holmes, the character in general, has a great history because that's one of the earliest instances of essentially fan fiction, non-authorized alternate author works to a series where, at least in the modern context, where I think he killed the character, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and but this is at the time like before copyright had gotten off the ground. So after like 7 years, it was essentially public. Like, public domain, and so a bunch of people are just writing like, no, he didn't die, this is Sherlock Holmes, the whatever story, and like a whole bunch of people wrote just their own Sherlock Holmes stories.
Yeah, I know, it got a little out of hand at one point.
So that's one thing I like about the history of the character, is because of that little bit of early fan fiction.
Yeah. On a positive note, I have actually stopped bleeding from when I opened up my money box.
That's good.
I sliced my knuckle open in the side of my finger. The total amount, which was actually in the money box was £126.30.
Okay.
It was actually more, but I took all the copper out and put that in a copper tub. So yeah, that was a thing. Just randomly start bleeding in the middle of the bloody podcast.
At least you got some money out of it.
Which is like totally my thing, you know, because in the middle of the Horses at Homes con, I ended up with a nosebleed then.
Interesting. That nosebleed should have been saved for the Valentine's Day podcast.
Don't you remember that? When I randomly announced in the middle of whatever we were doing, it's like, I've got to go a minute, my nose is bleeding.
I'll be honest, I blocked out that whole day. I thought that was a terrible podcast.
Yeah, and then Needle made a comment about me staring at her flank too much, which we left it at that, and then I ended up covered in blood because it was a bad nosebleed.
Yeah. No, we get it. You were you were having a good time. A little bit too good of a time when we were talking.
Oh, I indeed. Needle's flank though. Whoa. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it's that was fun early testing for the live stream, which has saved me tremendous time because I don't have to like produce the videos on the back end anymore. It's like just YouTube can do that shit for us.
Yes, and it does that shit very well.
I see on Twitter a lot because it's merged with it. I think it like owns it, but frickin' Periscope is terrible. Every time I watch a Periscope stream of something, it's like the quality is all over the place. It will drop to like 144p for like 4 minutes, and then it will come up magically to HD, and then drop again. And the ratio is like all over the damn place. It bugs me so much. I'm very old-fashioned when it comes, well, relatively speaking, live streaming.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it, so I guess it's alright.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we are getting closer to the 2-hour mark, which is where I figured we'd stop, especially considering how haphazard this whole podcast has been. So is there anything you want to talk about to fill the last 7.5 minutes?
Yes, I do. No, it isn't accident or blood related.
Okay.
As you are aware, I am a part of the Equestrian Amino app.
Yes.
And something lately has been causing such a stir on there, it's not even funny anymore.
Really?
Yes. It is Fallout Equestria based. The books have been published.
Yes.
And quite a few posts have been made on there regarding it. And the size of the books are like Lord of the Rings sized books.
Yes.
And the cover art is so beautifully done. It's like engraved into the cover of the book.
Yes, I must admit the third printing, they really went all out with the look of it. I had wished I'd gone for this one, but I figure I already had the second printing and it's not worth the money.
I actually don't have any of them. Because Britain is shit and they are totally useless when it comes to pony stuff.
Aww.
I don't need your sympathy.
It is technically a North American show, so it's we got to have a few things every once in a while. Yeah, international shipping too is so insane. Like I wouldn't want to, what would that be, like 20 quid to add on top of whatever the standard shipping would be?
Yeah, something like that anyway.
Yeah. At least it's not euros, where the market is hemorrhaging like a bleeding whale.
Hero. Wasn't that a TV program at one point that ran for like a season or two and then just magically disappeared off the face of the earth?
Yeah, that was because of season 3 and 4, which were terrible.
I don't think that even aired on season 3 and 4. Yeah. I remember the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, those were good.
Which were...
Or okay.
It was all over the place. They were stopping and starting different character stories. Nothing was actually going anywhere. It was just like, here's a new character. Oh, wait, no, she's dead. Take a look at this guy over... no, we've got this dude over here. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
No, I agree that there were reasons why that show didn't go forward anymore. That was a weird time of, like, they were trying to get sci-fi back on TV. Like, there were all these shows like Threshold, and they brought back the V series and 4400 and stuff. But then none of them landed, or none of, like, the writers didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So they all started just evaporating into thin air, like Terra Nova and, yeah.
Until Supernatural came along. So it went from Heroes to Supernatural, and Supernatural is actually still going 12 seasons later.
Supernatural has a very devoted fan base at are essentially keeping them all alive.
I think season 14 or 15 is currently in production.
Damn.
Damn indeed.
Yeah, well, I mean, hell, we're in the world where Simpsons is still somehow on the air. It's like, I think every year we get a lesser return on how many good episodes there are. But, I'll be honest, especially after the movie, I've mostly checked out because the movie was not executed the way it should have been. The original plan for it was what everyone has been waiting for, which is the return of Hank Scorpio. I want a Hank Scorpio movie so damn bad before the actor dies.
Yeah, I guess.
I think they'll end up, or if they should end the series on like a loop where it like goes back to the beginning of the. I think it was Sam Simon who made this joke before he died, where the last episode of the series is they go to the dog races and the Christmas, just like the first, and that would be fun, like a giant, causality loop. But the show's been on the air so many damn years, they've rewritten the backstories of all the characters several times over now to adapt to the new decade. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Futurama at all? That was another show that went through several revivals.
Yes, I'm well aware of Futurama.
It sounds like it's not all positive.
I quite enjoyed it, to be fair.
Okay.
Very much so. It was more of the adult cartoons that I watched when I was younger.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
What you keep inflecting up at the end of your sentences, though, which makes me feel like there's a big butt coming. Bow wow.
It was more of the tamer adult cartoons that I watched when I was younger. So yeah, that was a thing.
Okay, Futurama was a thing. Yes, I also enjoyed Futurama growing up. I watched Simpsons in the late 90s. Like, I'm one of the, OG Simpson fans where it's like, only the 90s Simpsons are good, guys. After season 10, it sucks. Not completely. There are some good episodes, but it's like the general sense. And then, well, really, a lot of writers and talent were moved to Futurama, which I think was part of the problem. And so, yeah, the first 3-4 seasons were fun, and then they had their the movies in the middle, which were good. I think like 2 of them were solid, like the Universal Timecode one and stuff, but 2 of them were just kind of meh. Yeah. And then I didn't really watch any of that last season they brought back to Comedy Central, which is Probably why they cancelled the show.
We have a question.
What is y'all's
What's
favorite
y'all...
Bender crime?
That's actually quite a good one, because he's a mischievous piece of shit that's done all sorts. I think my favourite one, in fact, I've got two favourite ones, where he makes a deal with the devil with his firstborn child. So he just literally goes home, picks him up, and then boots him into hell. He'll be like, here's the king, now give me what I want.
Fantastic.
Kind of thing.
All the Robot Devil episodes were quality. That was like the monorail episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah. The other one was when he goes back to college and just trashes the place. Like, he didn't give a shit. It was like, I'm just going to destroy everything. And he literally does. He ends up burning it down and all.
I would probably say either that Universal Timecode movie where he keeps going back and that was a very fun plot line. Or the, what was it, where they get all the robots onto like an island and they're like have an uprising, or they're all going to shoot fire into the sky to move the Earth out of orbit to kill all the humans or something. That was fun. It was very megalomaniacal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have a very strong, because Futurama hit right when I was getting in middle school, so that was when my parents were letting me get into the older, like, Simpsons and cartoons and stuff like that. I was the original Simpsons seasons were coming to DVD, and so I, like, was old enough they let me start buying those, and then when Futurama went off air, I transitioned from that into South Park, which was even better.
Oh, yeah, that was, that's another cartoon I watched. Wow, yeah, I can call it a cartoon I watched when I was younger. A very interesting one at that.
I mean, you can't get past the original Cartman voice, and the first 10 or 7 seasons, you guys, that were just so quality.
Shut up, cat! No, I can't do that.
No, I know, I can't either. That's another thing. One of my earliest non-pony things was that South Park Blame Canada parody I did on my own channel.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
Well, it wasn't really non-pony. I recontextualized it where you blame Canada for the horse show because it's, like, mostly Canadian. So, yes, that was fun.
Yeah.
South Park was my childhood. If you had a childhood like the kids of South Park, that would be an incredible childhood. I mean, Cartman alone got rated like the third best fictional villain of all time because of the crap he's done, like the, freaking, what's the guy, the redhead, who turns out to be his half-brother. Damn it, what is his name?
I don't know.
The chat's gonna get it to me before... shit! How can I forget this now?
It'll come back to you. Don't worry. It will come back to you. Probably when you try and sleep tonight, and then you pop off your pillow at 4 a.m. and be like,
"No, I'm googling it. I'm like a bitch." Scott Tenorman. Damn it! Yes, Scott Tenorman. My brain was thinking Trent Zimmerman, which is all kinds of wrong. Yes, Scott Tenorman must die. That was the best, like, surprise ending of that first block of episodes. And then the movie, too, of course. The movie was quality, because just like Trey Parker, I'm an endless sap when it comes to musicals, and especially their edgier musicals.
Yeah.
What other adult-oriented cartoons were you into? I know, I remember in high school when Adult Swim came on the air, I was all over that, especially the anime block and stuff.
Yep, okay, let's see. I'm going to run off a few. Family Guy.
Okay.
American Dad.
Okay.
South Park, Futurama. We've already named them two. Robo Chicken.
Yes.
Was one that was on later at night. I was just thinking of them and now they're gone.
I remember I watched Metalocalypse for a little bit. That was fun.
That never aired over here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, classical Adult Swim was great. And then
yeah. And then it became censored.
Adult Swim is, it's going the path of MTV, where it's sort of corrupting itself, and so it's taking very quality, original, different, edgy comedy, like $1 Million Extreme World Peace, off the air because, oh god, artwork can't be controversial, that's not what art is for, and then everyone's like, well wait, no, that's exactly what art is for. It's like, okay, we're gonna take it off the air then. And then you find out that, one reason it went off the air is because Tim Heidecker is a little bitch and can't take competition from shows that are in the same format as them, of Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. But it might be a little bit different, maybe with a little bit newer, cleverer writing. So I have to settle for Sam Hyde Wars on YouTube, which are extremely great. If you are a $1 Million Extreme or Sam Hyde fan at all, the Hyde Wars episodes, especially with Charles, episode 2 and 4, where they're just having these stream of consciousness conversations about like freaking simulation theory and stuff, are hilarious.
I will admit it was pretty fun.
Oh my gosh. I recommend a video that was a parody of The Honest Trailers. The Honest Trailers was one of my early, like, super hits that got me a wider Fallout Equestria following, even from my songs.
We've gone down to 9 watches.
No, we usually average between 10 and 15, so it's still pretty peaky. But we can quit whenever you're done, or if you want to sign off, I can.
There's only 2 of us, so we're doing pretty well.
I never watched Beavis and Butthead the series, but I did see Beavis and Butthead Do America, which was fun. Especially the random. I had no idea Robert Stack would be in it. I was a huge Unsolved Mysteries fan growing up. I'd watch it weirdly with my mom. She loved shows like that, and just so then hearing Robert Stack come out of nowhere as the FBI agent was great.
I'm not sure if it fully aired in America this, but do you know of Brickleberry?
Brickleberry, what's his name, the tall comedian guy, Tron, damn it, Tosh.0, Daniel Tosh, right? That show?
I'm not sure, but Brickleberry, it's an adult animated series where it shows you the wonder of nature at its finest. Even in the trailer for the goddamn series, you've got animals fucking each other in front of kids.
Yes, Daniel Tosh is very much edgy for the sake of edgy sometimes.
Yeah.
I love his other stuff, like Tosh.0 and some of his stand-up, but the Brickleberry didn't really grab me. You know what it is? I don't know what it is. Like, obviously, I'm a very indoorsy person. I've gone camping, sometimes. I can do outdoors to certain limited extents. I'm not, like... why are all these shows about camping and, like, summer camps? Like, you see, like... Was it Camp Lazo and the camp thing on Rooster Teeth? It's like, it's all these 40 and 50-year-old riders remembering in the 70s and 80s when the national park had their big freaking marketing push, and so they all went to parks all the time. And I'm like, no. So, I don't know. Camp shows kind of burn me out.
Yeah. Do you remember Total Drama Island?
Yes, that actually was that was fun. Because that was very well orchestrated, like characters and the game show and everything.
Only 2 seasons successfully aired in the UK.
Oh, yeah, because what was it? The original and then the Total Drama Action, where it was like the Hollywood one?
Yeah, but only 2 seasons of the original Total Drama Island got aired in the UK.
Oh.
So I never knew that there was prequels.
Oh.
Don't give me thy sympathy.
That was a fun show. I remember a short time I watched that was it the 16 teen show, which is a lot of the same characters. I think it was the same studio or whatever. That was a weird transition, like the late 2000s when they were trying to become, like, get out of some of the, like the early 2000s had, like, the weird choppy editing and stuff, and the movies, and, you know, everything was very, like, crackhead. You know, they thought, oh, we have to get as fast as possible for the kids because they have no attention span anymore. And then they're like, well, wait, actually, we might have gone too far. Kids can handle larger stories and stuff. And then they saw the success of things like Avatar, and they pulled back a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit. They didn't pull back a bit. They just kind of slammed the brakes on and snail paced it.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, we're in the modern age of shows like Adventure Time is considered like the one that changed a lot of that. I'm not necessarily a fan. I don't like random does not equal humor. And I feel like too much of Adventure Time operates off of that, where it's sort of like this just... Well, it's like what South Park made fun of Family Guy for, where it's all the porpoises just hitting balls, and then they make a joke, and then the joke just is there. And I don't know, I get too much of that feel from shows like Adventure Time, and especially when they can't do the format well, like frickin' Problem Solvers, which is the worst show on television of the last decade.
No, dude, it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, not the Rock Hard Picture Show. Get it right.
Well, quite a few people in the movie were Rock Hard Picture Show, but, you know.
Well, that's if you want to discuss what's on the slab, but that's a different matter altogether.
Addams Family, those two, the show was fun, the cartoon, but also the two movies from the late 90s. They were a good time. I liked the Addams Family.
I remember the original live action from the early 90s, even though I was born in the late 90s. Do you remember the Tetley Tea advert?
No.
Okay, because in the UK we had Tetley Tea adverts, and it was actually the theme tune from the Addams Family.
Naturally.
So that was a nice little Easter egg.
Nice. In the comments, yes, Bo. That is random done right. That is the best anime of all time.
I've not actually seen it, but I've heard things with his weird mustache.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Mustache that becomes anything and everything, and then pale drives everything. Yes, that was a weird one, but it's on my to watch list.
Yeah, I remember I'd watch the episodes occasionally for like after school and stuff. You know, it's just finishing homework and crap.
Yeah. Fist of nose hair. So yeah, that is actually pretty cool to know there, DJ. He's met the VA.
What about movies, or we'll bring it back to the modern age? You have anything you're looking forward to, or new stuff coming out soon?
I still haven't got around to watching the new Assassin's Creed.
Okay. Meh.
I also want to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 because they don't want to say number 2 because they're weird. What else is there I want to watch?
Guardians?
I don't know at this precise moment. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah, no, I'd say it was almost better than the first one. The only thing holding it back was the music. The music was not as good as the first one. But I'd say almost everything else about it was.
Yeah. That's something that's kind of bothered me recently. The release dates of the new season 7 of MLP, it's all over the place.
I know, right?
It's like they only just released episode 10 earlier today. And they've already got full episodes of 11 on YouTube.
I think you're ahead of us then, which would make sense because I know UK gets everything first now. I think we just had episode 7 air.
No, this is on YouTube.
Is it really?
They've leaked. they've leaked all the episodes up to episode 11, so I've watched all of them.
Oh, a leak. That I haven't been paying attention to the seasons anyway. So.
Full episodes. I mean, we got to see the nightmare version of Celestia.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Because I can't really go into it much because you've only watched episode 7. But yeah, all the episodes are literally on YouTube.
Okay, I'll have to catch up. Yeah, no, that's where I watched them originally when I was still hiding it from my family and stuff. Was I watched it secret on YouTube. Or was it the private browser and everything? So I'd delete the history.
Yeah, that's the only way I was able to watch the new episodes, because over here we're still on like season 5 or 6, because the UK absolutely sucks and the only channel it airs on is Tiny Pop.
Tiny Pop, I like that.
It's for kids. I can't stand the adverts because they're too stupid.
It gives you that feeling in your heart, like, oh, I'm watching a show made for little kids. You can't even give it like the Looney Tunes excuse per se.
Yeah, because Looney Tunes is aired on Boomerang, but even them adverts can be quite mature for like a teen audience.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's how I watched all the episodes from season 5 to season now.
Yeah,
is YouTube, because I'd wait for them to be uploaded, because there was some form of schedule every Saturday around between 12 and 2 o'clock. They would be up on air for me over here. But for season 7, it was like 2 or 3 episodes in one day. And it's like, the fuck you doing? Calm down.
I remember way back when I first got into the show right before season 2 aired. I watched, I waited every Saturday until about 11 or 12 is when someone would post it to YouTube, and I'd immediately save it to my computer before the copyright got to it. Those are good days.
Yeah, those are the days. But yeah. That's one of the episodes I'm still waiting for, because they announced that they were going to reveal Applejack's parents in season 7.
As just skeletons?
Yeah. Just like the bone of the family. So... Whoa. So yeah, that's one episode I'm still waiting for, which will probably be in the next ones.
No, that was actually one of my original parodies too. Was I did a parody of what was it? The Of Monsters and Men song, Little Talks, and because of that one PMV, and I made it an Applejack version where she's talking to Ghost Dad, and yeah, that was very early on. Like I did it just back and forth my own voice, which is terrible, and then finally some YouTuber's like, I'll do the version as the girl voice, and I'm like, yes, sold.
Yeah. 2 more questions, completely unrelated. How long have y'all been making content, and any advice for newcomers?
Did you want to start out? Because I probably have a long answer.
Yeah. To be fair, I've gone through 3 YouTube channels.
Nice.
Lone Demon Girl is my latest. My first channel I created in the early 2000s under the name Princess Karina, because I had a thing for Tokyo Mew Mew and I really liked Karina.
Oh.
And it hit 10 subscribers, and I was really proud of that, because back then I used Windows Movie Maker and shit-arsed quality clips of videos and put them to music. And then 2005 to 10, I had my second channel, because Princess Karina got copyrighted and striked 3 times.
Yep.
Don't understand why. So I had Itachi Girl 56 for a while. and I was super mega proud when that hit 16 subscribers.
Fantastic.
It was like the best thing ever. I lost that again due to copyright. So I lost all my videos on it, which was really annoying because a lot of them I had put like months worth of work into them.
Yeah.
And just gone. And then this account, Lone Demon Girl, which has hit over 1,000 subscribers, and it's like, the fuck am I doing?
Aw, shit, son.
I'm closing in on 1,100 subscribers, which is like a massive achievement to me. Still working on new content and stuff. So my advice to newcomers is patience. Keep trying new things. Keep up with the trends, because I got most of my subscribers when I did a speed paint of Five Nights at Freddy's Bite of 87, because at that point I went from 80 subscribers to about 800 subscribers in the short span of 3 weeks. Somehow.
Yeah.
It was one of them things. So yeah. Keep up with the trends of games and stuff. Upload regularly, because that's what people actually like. Patience, and make sure your stuff is of quality. It doesn't have to be pristine quality, as long as it's not pixelated.
As long as it's not Windows Movie Maker blue with generic white text fading in and out.
That's how most of mine actually started.
Me
it
too.
Wasn't that bad. I prefer the Windows 7 version of the Windows to the Windows 8 version.
I agree.
Windows 7, yeah, it was like the best thing ever.
Windows 8 was an abortion, so.
I've currently got Windows 8, and it's decided to take a huge disliking to Sony Vegas, which has annoyed me to the high heavens.
It's worth getting on 10. 10 really bridges, like, it gets rid of all the crap about 8, and it feels like a natural evolution for 7, rather.
Yeah, but the only reason why I won't upgrade to 10, is because when my laptop went from 8 to 8.1, it self-corrupted itself and I lost all my data.
Oh, no.
I was working on. I had an A&V I was working on, which had taken me 3 months to almost complete. I lost that. Multiple pieces of artwork, all my previous projects. So it just basically went beyond factory repair settings.
Yeah.
So that annoyed me to the high heavens. And it crashed like a month or so before the warranty ran out.
Oh, yeah.
So it was still under warranty when it killed itself. So that was good.
That is good. Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I will not upgrade to Windows 10, because I'm absolutely terrified that might happen again.
Ah.
And because Windows 10 does not like the art program Paint Tool Sci.
There is a paint for Windows 10, like Microsoft Paint?
No, this is Paint Tool Sci. It's a very good art program.
Oh.
I use it all the time.
Okay. For me, it's just when I buy a new computer. I did leave my laptop on Windows 7 for the same reason. I didn't want to risk upgrading it.
Yeah. So yeah. What's your advice for newcomers then?
Okay, yeah, I can start my spiel. In high school, I started off with an old channel that was just it was mostly just for watching things, and then I did make a few videos later on that were essentially just uploading clips of like comedians I liked, like Brian Regan and stuff, which was totally legal, of course, man, just like everything on YouTube. But then once those hit a certain amount of subscribers, YouTube's automatic, or not subscribers, views, like after 20,000, then YouTube's automated system must have kicked in and it's like, wait a second. So immediately I got 3 copyright strikes from 3 of those videos. And then Fox, they're particularly dickheadish about that too. I had another channel where I was actually trying to make content, where I was doing like what was I? It was like shorter clips, like I'd trim episodes of things I liked down to like the essential storyline, just for, I don't know, I was in high school and bored, and I just thought I'd do that. So there's like a Simpsons episode, and then some That 70s Show episodes where I'm like, I hate this extra storyline, and so I literally like trimmed out like the Fez plot line, and then made it just like, you know, Hyde and Jackie or something like that. And yeah, of course that still wasn't transformative enough, and they were like, no. So another channel down. And then I just used my old OG channel for like viewing YouTube and, you know, all that stuff, favorites lists and such. Then when I got into ponies, and I decided, I only watched for like a year. I was a passive observer of season 2 and the content and stuff, and I'd never really been like in a fandom before or anything like this. Really, I don't know if anything exactly like this has existed in the internet beforehand. This is monumental. And so then I was like, I want to do like music and stuff. I had no more creative outlets at work or school or other. So I was like, okay, I would like to do like a Weird Al thing, because I'm still not really a composer, but I can write lyrics. Like how it started was in high school. I rewrote a "Don't You Forget About Me," the not Breaking Bad, freaking Breakfast Club song. I rewrote it to "Ask a Girl to Prom." I made it like a prom song, and I actually posted that on the channel too.
I remember you saying, and it worked. That's
yeah,
fun.
Yeah. So it was just a cute little thing to, you know, woo the lady, and then I'm like, okay, I can do like parodies, and I was a big fan of Weird Al way before that too. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to be the Weird Al of the fandom, and so I'd say that's an early thing to think about when you're starting up a new channel. Is think about what kind of end game or what kind of like personality you at least want to establish yourself as, because having some kind of consistent kind of content, like people understand what you're doing and what you're there for, is going to increase the chances of people subscribing, because they know like your usual thing. And so obviously early on I was doing parodies and ponifications of all these different songs I liked, and just adapting them to horses and give me a chance to sing them. And so, yeah, that's a great way of starting, is, and like you said, having some kind of consistent releases. Back then, I tried to have something out every 2 weeks, which was mainly because I had the free time to do that, which I don't anymore. And so, yeah, and then really, too, is like spread. Like if you're in Facebook groups or Twitter or whatever, if you have some kind of online presence or some kind of group that likes that thing that you do, spread it. Be, you know, annoying. You know, drop links, act as an anonymous person to be like, hey, did you guys see this? What this guy's creating? And you don't have to tell them it's you. But it's like, that spread helps a lot. Like, for pony stuff, it's Equestria Daily and sites like that. Now I think it's almost self-perpetuating. And then, of course, production quality, like thumbnails. It's really good if you're, you know, decent enough at, like, Photoshop or whatever. Put together a nice-looking thumbnail that will grab or interest people. Because I know that's something I've always strived to do. You know, it goes along with making the album art, but it's like something that quickly would want to pull people in and know the name or understand what the thing is. I think it's good for marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, and really an easy to remember name. That's another thing I strive for with something simple like Skybolt, and then even in the old days when it was Skybolt's music, you know the character name, then you know what the thing is, the musics, and yeah, so.
Yeah. I just went for something that was original and no one actually used.
Yes.
So it's like my previous two names, Princess Karina. It was a known name, but pretty much everyone used it. Itachi Girl 56, because I was an Itachi fangirl, or
Nice.
still am.
Nice.
But it was again a name that everyone used. So then I ended up settling with Lone Demon Girl because no one used it. So if you have a unique name that is easier to remember, then you've got more of a chance because it'll be easier to find your channel. Because I made that mistake when I created my gaming channel, which was Shadow Wolf. And Shadow Wolf is like the most commonly used name going.
Yes,
so
it helps to Google around and see, put your own spin if it's a common-ish name.
Yeah, so I ended up shortening it to SW5333 Gaming. But even that didn't go anywhere, so I ended up shutting that channel down, or I've not uploaded in a while. It did hit 35 subscribers, though. That was a bonus.
Oh, it helps if the name is, like, funny or memorable in some way, too. Like, I'll throw out just one. If I decided I wanted to create a gaming channel with a lot of Halo focus, which is obviously something that, I would likely do. It'd be a lot of Halo focus, because I'm a helpless fanboy. Like in the old days, when I was actually good at playing Halo, and, back in my day.
The Halo.
Anyway, I would make a tongue-in-cheek reference to Red vs. Blue, which a lot in the Halo fan community would do, with the whole Puma joke. So I would use something like Leopard, and then a funny, like, pseudonym, so Leopard Massacre, or whatever. And then it's just, it's two simple, standard words that are memorable, and then Massacre, because, of course, you're, like, a gaming guy, and so you want to imply that you're really good at the game thing that you're doing. And so that's just randomly what I would do. Next question, which Quantum Zen might be gone now, but what are your guilty pleasure movies or shows?
Ponies.
I was going to say Ponies is probably the biggest one, at the point of leading a double life. So there's that.
Yeah.
Any kind of kids-ish shows, like even Samurai Jack. Like, I have my circle of nerd friends, but with the normies, I probably wouldn't mention a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. One that I actually shared with my mum for quite a while was Bagpuss.
What's that about?
Exactly what it says on the tin. A little pink and white cat called Bagpuss, and it was just literally a show of little toys, and they'd do stuff and solve stuff, and it was actually pretty adorable. But it's a show from like the late 80s to the early 90s, and it stopped airing in the early 2000s. It's one of them shows where it's like the merchandise for it is still around today, but most people don't actually know what it is or what it's from.
Yep, that's me.
So, yeah.
Okay, we have from Luke Hondrix a Fallout question about crystal technology. Actually, if you really pay attention in Confessions, a lot of it is based on crystal technology in like a very Kryptonian kind of way. Like, really, in episode 2, Ghoulshift talks about in great detail about how the main reactor was a liquid crystal reactor, and the whole name Clipper was crystalline liquid inertial propulsion reactor. And so that's sort of it's sort of the lore I'm building into, like, the kind of magical radioactive reactor that they're dealing with technology-wise. And at least in my version of things too, a lot of the plasma and the lasers function off of like liquid crystal batteries essentially. And you charge them and then they deplete or whatever. I'm not sure if that bit has come out yet, but there's something about that later. And then of course, if you paid attention in the Ranger, the spell matrix is essentially a highly dense knowledge crystal. Again, a Kryptonian kind of thing from Superman, where it's when they give power to it, it glows the bright magenta, and it's got all the knowledge of their secret military unit and everything. So crystal technology is actually very heavy in Confessions. So
don't forget the water talismans from the Engineer episode.
Oh, yeah, that's true, of course. A lot of that stuff is all crystals, and those reactors were clippers, too, most likely, even though it's not directly stated. Yep.
Yes.
Sombra would be erect in all the crystal talk.
I'm sure he would.
Well, 2.5 hours. I think we did a pretty good length podcast. Is there any final word you wanted to add?
I think we've pretty much covered it all.
Oh, one more question. Did we ever watch Invader Zim? Yes, I did. Growing up. That was fun. The Urkin Armada. How do crystals cause radiation? The same way the real world unstable elements do, which is, at least with the crystal reactor, that's the whole point of them being liquid, is they're essentially ground up into powder, and that releases the magical energy, and so they become this sort of like living fluid solution. And so the whole point of the inertial is that they basically get spun, and that movement, that frictional energy, like the thumping, pumping motion, like you hear in the soundtrack too, in the Stable 2 sound, it's like the 6th track or whatever from the animated series album. You hear that thumping, and that cyclical inertial motion basically excites the liquid crystal, and that creates magical pulses, and that's radiation.
Nerd. I'm sorry, but
no,
I needed to do that.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh, indeed.
Okay, so if anyone has any other questions, we're going to wrap up. Thank you for joining us. I don't know when we'll next have a podcast, because now I'm literally, it's just my computer, and then I'm surrounded by cardboard boxes. So I don't know when I'll have my computer set up again. So hopefully these tide you over until we're settled. So yeah, definitely at the end of June or July should be back in full swing.
Yeah. I am going to give you a topic to obsess over the next time, because I'm pretty sure you will have a very fun view on it.
Okay.
I will get you Undertale. I know I've brought it up before, and you will probably try and understand the logistics of how magical skeletons get drunk and do other things, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know almost nothing about it, so you can feed me whatever fan stuff you want, and we'll go from there.
As long as I will give you certain things to try and avoid, because reasons.
Okay. Isn't one of them a living pun? There's no other purpose than to make puns?
That is Sans. Sans the skeleton. He just makes puns. That is literally all he does. He also drinks ketchup. He loves his ketchup.
Okay.
He gets drunk on ketchup.
That's kind of full circle for how this podcast started.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up earlier, but I had something to do.
Nice.
So you've got Sans, a genderless kid who goes by the name as Fisk. Sans's younger brother, Pyrus.
Is that the tall guy?
Really... Yes, Papyrus is the tall one.
Okay.
Yet he's the younger brother.
And they're both named after very cringe-worthy looking fonts.
Yes. And then you've got Gaster, who speaks in hands, which is the wedding font.
Oh, yeah, Wingdings. That's fun.
Wingding Gaster, or WD Gaster. The fandom has sort of made Gaster Sans and Papyrus's father, which is quite interesting.
It just makes me want to know what the mother is. Would she be something very normal like Verdana, or would she be something equally silly?
No, because they don't actually have a mother. The fandom keeps interpreting who the mother is and what she looks like.
Naturally.
Lucidia is one of the common names she has been given.
Oh, there you go. That's a font.
Speaking of the fonts, most of the time when it comes to ships, and people usually call it incest.
Yes.
Well, there's two terms for it in Undertale. You've got fontcest and sancest.
Oh my
gosh.
Because
this is what I meant by avoiding certain parts of the Undertale fandom.
Fantastic.
Fantastic, but yeah.
One more question from Go Tigers. How did the bombs work in Fallout Equestria, ICBM, or whatever? Yeah, that's somewhat left vague. I know the actual mechanics, like when they talk about mega spells, they have a wide range of like there was that big solar dome thingy where Celestia was supposed to shoot sun mega spells, which that sort of implied that it was like a big like arcing beam of energy. I take a very classical approach of like, well, they have like airships, and so I'm taking it from a like a World War I like Zeppelins and you know the Pegasi cloud ships and stuff dropping gravity bombs, which are, you know, just dummies. As far as ICBMs go, I don't know. Like even with the engineer, since we have Amber here, I use artillery as a you know, like it uses magic to track the bombs incoming, like they're getting dropped like, you know, air to surface missiles. But yeah, I don't know. I like sort of that classical feel of just you know, dummy intercept, or you have to use a very very precise laser ray or artillery shell, because that's fun. So I don't know. We haven't gone into the very fine details yet.
Yep.
Whatever it is, I'm sure Amber can program it.
Yes, I'm sure I can. But does that include killing people at the same time? Yeah. That reminds me, I did actually finish writing the lyrics for the rap battle between Amber and Homage.
Oh, I am looking forward to that.
If you want, you can proofread it to make sure everything goes. At the end of it, Homage does get really pissed off at DJ.
Fun.
Because she knows that DJ has actually written put them together. And at the end, Amber actually starts crying.
Oh, fun.
So I've got to try and cry some more.
Yeah, considering you spent the entire last section of the engineer like in soft sobbing, I thought that was well done. It should be fine.
I had to bite the inside of my mouth and my tongue so I could do that.
You know, the old acting trick is you put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Like, you do everything you can to, like, press your tongue against it, and that sort of makes your eyes tear up a little bit.
That actually doesn't work with me because I have a very weird gag reflex.
Okay.
So... No, not that kind of gag reflex. But yeah, so basically, the reason why Amber starts crying at the end of it is because Homage makes a comment about her solving puzzles and killing people at the same time.
Fun.
And it triggers something. So Amber tries and pretends not to be affected by it and then ends up bursting out crying.
Nice. That's okay. They'll make up later.
Yeah. And then the announcer gives a very nervous laugh and it's like, well, we will wrap that up there. Who won? Who's next? You decide. I'm out of here, kind of thing.
Okay.
I will link that to you so you can have a read and have a giggle.
Yes, I'll spot check and make sure it's canon compliant. But even if it's not, it's fine. It's a rap battle.
Yeah. Fun. Homage's VA actually did contact me back and say she was okay with it. So I managed to get that finished. I forgot to message her telling her that it's actually done and everything, so...
Yeah, that was the only thing stopping, is I didn't know if she had the free time or desire to do it, so that I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah, I need to go and talk to her again about it. So, yeah.
Alrighty, well, thank you everyone for joining us, and we will be back. Maybe at the end of June, we'll be able to do another podcast. It all depends on just how quickly I can get my freaking house set up, because we have to do a lot of repairs and renovations before I can actually move in. So, yay, living out of boxes.
Yep. And I've got college to deal with because we're in our final... Technically, the final week was this week, but we've got a couple more weeks to sort shit out. So I'll be busy with that.
Fun.
Not fun. Pain in the arse.
Yeah.
Very much so, because I didn't make it pony related, so it wasn't easy. So yeah, that's everything from me. I will educate you on Undertale, so we can gas about that the next time. Another question. I wonder if there was mutual insurance destruction in Equestria. I guess not.
I like to think that the Zebra land was totally vaporized because Equestria did have the larger industrial base and the stronger mega spells. I mean, they invented it, and then, the trader Fluttershy gave them the plans. So I'm guessing Zebra land is basically gone, and then Equestria somewhat survived.
Something like that.
Yeah. Can't trust them zebras.
Can't trust that. Sorry.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, we will talk to you guys later. Have a fantastic few weeks.
See you around.